I'm so angry. Rika is wreathed in flickering, angry fire.
You're just making the mist retreat at the heat of your anger. When you're running on so much adrenaline so fast, and then everything goes quiet and cold.
Talia just kind of flops to the ground, not like passing out, but like just kind of drops into sitting cross-legged because she's just kind of out of it. She's like, oh. She said, esoteric, maybe a little help, please.
Esoteric doesn't even have armor on, so.
Yeah. It's fucking limping around with half his armor on.
Yeah. Don't worry, you guys go ahead. It will take me 50 turns to put it on.
Rika asks, what do we do next? What do we do now?
He's already quite injured, and we're 2 or 3 hours away from his lair. Should we rest for tonight as we originally intended, or should you heal me up and let's go after him tonight before he has a chance to heal?
I'm thinking we should attempt to pursue, seeing as we no longer have any real preparation to do, assuming I can. So I'm only a little bit hurt. I know you're very hurt. Rika, how injured are you? I know Beischer's untouched.
I'm missing about 39 hit points exactly.
Okay.
No, Beischer's missing 18.
Oh, I didn't know you got hurt.
Yeah, the very beginning.
Got him with the poison. It was the 1,000 gold that hurt more, though. I'm pretty sure.
Way more.
All right. Well, so I'm going to open up with we're all gathered around. I'm going to open up with a mass cure wounds.
If we're going to pursue, you want to save your high level spells.
I was doing that for expediency, right? It will be better for me to cast a 4th level Prayer of Healing. So I mean, that takes 10 minutes though. So I will start casting that.
I mean, maybe he's luring us into an ambush. We still have the cultists to think about.
Yep. Okay. Also, since that takes 10 minutes, we might as well commit to a short rest at this point.
Okay. Yeah, we can spend some hit dice on a short rest.
We should short rest the rest of that. It's only 20 extra minutes from what has already been spent. And it would save my spell slot.
Night's already fallen, and the ember fire glows nearby.
Aisha looks at esoteric and asks, what's the plan? Draconic.
Don't know.
Sure, we'll say clearly this area is unsafe.
We must confront this asshole in his lair.
Aisha looks back. How can she understand us in Draconic?
She's not even looking at you. She's just like staring off where he was flying off to.
She's shaking her fist at the sky.
Talia is still tending to her wounds. She's bending herself, and hearing Rika say that, she looks up to see what she's looking at and sees her looking out, and she'll respond. We must have severely weakened him. He would not have fled otherwise. We should try to take advantage of this scenario while we have that upper hand. What's your take on that? And turning towards them, since I had previously been speaking to Rika.
I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, we do not have the element of surprise. It may seem foolhardy, but perhaps we should just press forward.
I'll nod and say, I concur. Element of spies would certainly be preferable, but whether it's tonight or tomorrow, I don't know that that's something we could regain unless we came back, many moons later. He's going to be watchful for us for days yet, I would suspect.
How many miles are we from his lair?
15. You said about 3 hours out. We had vaguely discussed how fast you were moving, so it's about 15 miles. It's the middle of night. You will not be moving the same speed as you were during the daytime. If you were to move.
Push on, defeat the cultists, kill the dragon, save the elves.
You do mention a valid point, though. We do have to get through the cultists, which is, mildly problematic at the least.
You hear out of the mist a voice. Sounds like an old kind of soft voice. That says, "I'm coming in. Do not attack."
I'll just raise my weapon and be on guard, but do I recognize the voice?
Yeah, Rika raises her glowing sword in a combat stance, illuminating her face.
You do not recognize the voice. It's high-pitched, like high-pitched for a male tenor. He walks into your little bubble of vapor where you're all standing. You guys can barely see each other. You're not very far apart, and you can still just barely... You can see outlines of each other, and you see this outline come in. But he eventually gets close enough. He's about 5 feet tall. He has the ears of an elf. But he's covered in mud, just head to toe. Every inch of him is caked in mud that's running with the damp air. So it's all like, it's wet mud. It's just... And he's about 79 years old to a human. But his skin is just loose, and the mud cakes along the lines of his drooping skin. He says, "Do you fight the dragon?"
We did. The beast just ran from us, like a coward.
"Do you continue to fight the dragon?"
We shall not retreat.
"Look, I can bring help. The druids of the forest want this thing out as much as you do. But you have to give me a little bit of time to round everybody up."
How much time?
A couple hours, maybe. "We can meet you up north if you are moving tonight."
Yeah, we plan on moving tonight. It will take us some time to reach him, of course, and then there's the cultists to contend with. How do we know we can trust you, though?
I have no reason to trick you. Hey, if I don't show up with an army full of druids, you guys were in the same spot you were before.
While certainly true, I'm more worried if you appear at our backs on the dragon's side.
I can give you a blessing that makes you less likely to be detected in his woods.
Truly?
Yes, I planned on it. Do you all accept?
I will turn to Baishra and, since he mentioned druids, and ask if this is legit, or is this something that seems like something a druid could or would do, or what's your take on this, Baishra?
Baishra shrugs.
But he does approach. He approaches Baishra first, hands held up. He draws a blue line from his temple down to his jaw, and then down into his chest. And you see it sort of hit against him as if there's some sort of barrier outside of him blocking it, but then you see it form around his entire form. By Shre, you can tell that this is not a negative effect, I guess.
Aisha will say Tessiteric and Draconic. It does not appear to be a harmful effect.
Yeah, I could, as Dirk says, I could take the time to try to ascertain what this does, but that would take time.
So, if you are leaving tonight, another white wolf passes as well.
I say to the girl, okay, hold on, and then I take the 10 minutes to cast Identify. Touch a creature throughout the casting, you learn what spells, if any, are currently affecting it.
That's a niche use.
And I just do it on myself. Because they said they cast it on all of us, right?
Yes, he did the same thing to everybody. Temple, jaw, chest, blue line. You feel it crash over you, and it doesn't feel like it's giving you sort of any enhancement. It feels
right. I just want to make sure what it is, because I will say as I'm doing this ritual, I say even if they do not turn out to be allies, it does not matter, seeing as it's not at least to our senses, they do not seem to be following us, but I do want to know what the spell does in case it is some kind of tracking beacon.
It is exactly the opposite of that. It is what he said it was. It will help you go unnoticed, especially by the critters of this wood.
Then I will,
it is specifically attuned to his sort of watchers.
As I finish the ritual and say, hey, he spoke the truth. It does indeed make us harder to track or be noticed within the realm of this wood.
Well, that eases my mind. I appreciate you taking the time to express your paranoia to our benefit, Esoteric. Your knowledge is always appreciated.
So now we should make haste.
Absolutely. Speaking of, Bishra, do you have any means that could help us move more quickly in this environment? Now that we are more easily concealed?
Just says no.
Talia will say,
no.
I'm good at sneaking around, but I'm more of a city rat myself, so I'm not.
I mean, you know that my spell I can constantly cast Pass Without Trace.
But yeah, I knew that. Yeah,
That's
I wasn't speaking of that one. I was just speaking in general terms, not asking for a specific spell.
Aisha pauses for a second, thinks, and then says no.
You guys are looking at about 10 o'clock. After all this conversing, you're looking at about 10 o'clock at night. This is about an even day, so you have about 12 hours of night that you're about to enter.
We're going to stay awake, right? And just hike onto his lair? Shall we begin?
Yeah, I assumed so.
Okay. Well, I'll put my sword away and rely on stealth.
Okay.
Rika puts out the fire.
How are you guys heading out? You guys are heading out stealthily, you said? All of you? We need to figure out a speed that you guys are moving, so I need to know these specific details.
I will stealthily be, at least 20 feet or so in front of them, if not farther.
Because I'm thinking about the slowest. The slowest person is probably going to be Esoteric.
It's going to be Bishra, because I don't have dark vision.
Oh yeah, and you're about to go running in the night in the middle of the woods.
Well, that's why I wanted to be ahead, was more of be a scout, so that I could forewarn them of anything.
If you guys are usually going about 5 miles an hour when you guys are traveling, this switched to 3 at night.
And probably slower in the wilderness without light.
Well, that's what if Talia is going ahead of him, I would give him 3. If Talia is just stealthing along beside you guys, then I would probably say he's down closer to 2, 2.5.
Yeah, I'll go ahead without stealthing just because, like you said, it's going to be dark and I'm in dark clothing and dark skinned and shadow stepping. So I'm going to be somewhat stealthy just inherently without trying to be. So being able to forewarn them and being ahead of them by just a bit is probably more advantageous than me trying to like be explicitly stealthy.
Okay. So 3 miles, you guys are covering 15 about miles. Well, also just running up and down. This is a lot of up and down. This would be like running stairs for 5 hours straight. Shit. Rika's doing flips.
Can I use my crit to give esoteric advantage? Can I do the help action while I'm also being awesome?
Yeah, that's way good enough a roll to bring him up.
Yeah, I go ahead of him, like nimbly climbing up the rocks, and then turning back and pull him up with my 18 strength.
You guys move the first 3 miles, the first hour. You do not hit anything that you would say is out of the ordinary. You're making quite a bit of noise, but nothing comes upon you.
Ah.
I think we should still do athletics for the second hour, and then maybe the third hour do stealth.
I sure can't be stealthy, really. So.
No, stealthing is a losing prospect for me.
That's true. And yeah, we're in the woods. Your plate. That's just not gonna happen. So,
But Baishra, well, fucking, never mind. Baishra has a stupid broken staff, is what I was gonna say. Yeah, okay. You guys lose a little bit of time. That's not a huge. I mean, you could just tell. You had to take a break and like walk for a bit.
Esoteric, why did you step in the quicksand?
He's like nose deep.
It was 10 minutes to pull you out of that. Now we're all dirty. I had to prestidigitate everybody.
The second hour. Yeah, you lose a little bit of time, but you don't come upon anything.
third hour, I'm going to creep a little further ahead of them, since I'm going to save my shadow steps to be able to jump back to them the 60 feet to warn them if need be.
Okay.
If we're going to stealth, can we get the pass without trace?
He just said you're
I'm
not.
always doing pass without trace.
Okay.
So I was going to go ahead with athletics. Y'all can stealth through this part if you want, but I was going to go ahead because I'm naturally stealthy enough that hopefully I'm not detected. And if I do, I can always shadow step away, and they wouldn't know where I was.
Well,
but
I think the issue with that would be you are already faster than us. If we are slowing down to stealth and you are not, you are going to get even further ahead of us.
No, I wanted to stay 60 feet ahead of you, regardless of how fast you're going. Was my goal, so that I could always shadow step back to you if I need be.
Wait, we were how many miles away again?
You were 15 miles away. You said about
We've
3
gone,
hours.
what, 4?
And you guys are going into your 6th to 9th mile in the 3rd hour.
Yeah, so we're not even we're not even halfway there yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be stealthy.
This is pretty hardcore running through the woods. You guys are pushing.
So
Yeah. You hear the flapping of it sounds like a giant hummingbird It has that like hum to it. And you hear it pass overhead. And then coming in towards you, Talia, you would see this first because you are running ahead. You would see a giant in the mist. You're still, when you come up to see it, you're probably 20 feet away when you see a giant out of the mist.
I come to a halt as soon as I see it. And I'm going to hide better. And I stop as soon as I see him and, duck back into the shadows to actually try to hide and see where he's going. Is he coming towards where my party is coming from? Or is he coming somewhere else? What vector is he on?
He is traversing very quickly. He passes you in a couple of moments. He doesn't take any note of you with the 28.
Okay. I will then shadow step back to the party and divert them either to the left or the right widely and say, quickly, this way. And quietly.
Oh. No, these are two unrelated things. You guys heard the hummingbird sound above your head, but then Talia sees this up ahead and jumps back to you guys.
If it was a giant running around like a hummingbird, that'd be the most terrifying thing ever.
This Etten is...
Wait, what?
You guys hear the thumping of feet from up ahead, and you guys kind of hear, you hear it go, in two, now they're pretty similar voices. They appear to be engaged in some conversation with each other. One of them's holding a club, the other one like a axe type of thing. Seems to be engaged in this conversation with himself, and he kind of stops and looks around, kind of comes and sniffs. He's sniffing the air. It doesn't look like that would be particularly effective, but for some reason he doesn't get that, and he goes clunking off through the woods. And you guys continue on. You lose a little bit of time.
We'll continue with the same pattern of me staying 60 feet ahead for exactly that purpose.
You guys are doing athletics to keep your speed up. There you go. Just took a couple hours to get Esoteric's blood going. Devils are natural sprinters.
Yeah, this is the, I think, 4th hour.
At this point, the mist is breaking in around you. Actually, you know what happens as you are heading towards the edge of the forest? The mist is starting to break, even though it's the exact opposite of what happened to you during the day. During the day, the mist got stronger even though the day came on. And now at night, as you're heading closer to the edge of the forest, it's becoming more sparse and patchy. But you hear this sound from above. You all hear it. This humming sound. Deep hummingbird. And it just flies out of the mist at Esoteric. It looks like bone. It's white. It's completely white. It has little wings that barely look big enough for his body. He has long, clawed hands. This is a bone devil, just completely made of bones. And weird, contorted bones. Like it's been ripped and...
He's gonna bone storm you.
Bone storm.
I thought you guys were devil bros.
And this creature also has a long, thin tail of spine, like vertebrae, that lead down to its spiked tail that comes over the top like a wyvern. It's mainly this tight white skin around bones. And it comes in an esoteric. This is a huge creature. Notice him crash through the trees. You hear this. You don't see this. It's a little bit too far up.
I will curse under my breath, and I will shadow step back towards the group. When I land, I will take in, the surroundings of what happens, and I will probably go eyes wide at seeing this thing that I have no idea what is attacking esoteric, and going, "Oh shit!" And I will dart forward, not really having slowed from the momentum of coming out of my shadow step, and I'll just bound off the trunk of the tree that I'd landed in the shadow of to give me the momentum to strike with, and I will slash at it to my short sword. First strike hits across, coming back around, I miss, and then I'll come back in, and hopefully I don't know if this hits or not, but I'm going to spend a key, so that one will hit.
Bring it down, and you just focus that little bit of extra energy, and you actually see it spark out from him as you land your strike. Sends him back reeling.
Having successfully struck, I will spend a single key point to make that a stunning strike. All of the main attack action is the short sword. It's just kind of I went like a Z, like up and then back down and then back up. So he's probably just dazed. The stun is I've hit him in the head each time with my sword. So maybe his jaws.
He looks off. He's waving side to side, and he eventually kind of trips on one of his legs, and you guys can all tell he's out of it.
Okay. All gets bigger and drippier with acid.
And you just thrust it into his stomach, and you see it coursing up into the veins. And what? Well,
wait, veins? That was a bone creature.
It is a bone creature, but it has skin, and it has just the smallest amount of flesh, just enough to hold it together.
It's been stretched tight.
More effective because of how condensed his muscle is.
Skin stretched as tight as you can imagine it across this creature's skeleton.
Yeah, showing you his vertebrae going down his back. It's like you can see every little line of this.
Dragonfly. This bone devil, they're immune to fire and poison. As hellfire erupts from the ground under it, and then I back away.
Cool. Bone devil is going to... No, this thing's looking up. Talia,
she's been studying pressure points extensively, so she's been applying that in her fights more recently, and she just really got it well on him.
There's something I meant to ask. In general, are there any signifying markers to different, factions of devils, and do I recognize anything on this one? I don't know, different type of skin color, or bone arrangement, or anything like that.
They usually mark their bone devils. They usually mark their major devils.
Yeah,
street bone devils.
Can I tell if this one is what this bone devil is allied with? What Lair of hell or whatever.
Yeah, I would say there would be a time to do that. That's maybe not in this turn.
Fair enough.
Okay, so he doesn't do shit. He just fucking is falling over himself and drooling. Back to Rika, or Rika for the first time, finally.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Rika continues drawing her sword out from its sheath as she had just barely begun to... Only inches were exposed before, eliminating a small area in light enough for Baisha to attack. But she pulls it all the way and leans into the slash. And I think she'll do a booming blade on it. The sword rings with the loud. She will put up a Aegis on Talia and Baisha.
Yeah, you can kind of see the mist coming in with your wind spells now. So as you land this booming blade across him, you see the mist move in and stick to your shield. This invisible shield that's surrounding him, holding him in place.
Maybe his arm. I'll try to see if I can't lop an arm off.
You feel the magic as you hear the words, and starts creeping over you, and you feel it seep into your blood, but you just shake it off. And the guy throws the extra magic to the ground as he sees it not take effect.
I will call out behind us. I will toll the dead the Bone Devil.
He has brought himself back. It looks like he's particularly focused in on Talia.
Can't blame him. I looked him up. He's mad.
He's going to bring down his fingers that end in these really sharp claws. Just long and thin, much more like a tree than like a human. Slashing.
As his claws rake down your skin, golden sparks fly like it's flint on steel. And your skin is barely scratched.
I smile. I grin widely.
I suddenly leap with golden alacrity, a little flash of light, and I counter-strike him.
You make a slice through his wings. You can just see it give and then not even bleed. It just automatically sears through with the sword. He's just flailing at this point. He's taking a huge amount of damage very quickly.
I'll do a kick. I'll do a roundhouse. And I will spend 1 key.
Are you going
I
for
want to...
that's the head?
I've already weakened his jaw a bit. I'm going to see if I'm take his head off. I don't know that that's possible, but either way, it's going to, rock him since he's already
Right.
weak there. So
No, you catch him and he's still upright, but he's out of it. And just, it seems like he's contemplating his own death briefly. So he's actually going to go for Talia. He's going to cast the same thing. He sends these bolts of purple energy out at you.
Damn.
But yeah, you feel it come across you, and he sees that it doesn't work and starts running back into the darkness.
she's just like, what was that? Because she's still focused on this bone devil in front of her.
Esoteric may have been the only one who really saw him run off into the mist.
Oh, primal savagery again. Y'all.
Which action to Toll the Dead on Bone Devil, necrotic damage.
Yeah, you know these things' weaknesses, and you bring down this spike from above that just lands into his spine, wedges itself in there and starts pulling him apart from the back, and he screams, and it just blood and bone that no longer sticks together shoots out the back of him as he breaks apart and falls face first into the ground as this decomposing mass that was once connected.
I would call it out, like, he went that way, but
Yee-hoo! What?
the Bone Devil was more pressing.
Should I give chase? Who is he?
It looked like a cultist.
Rika would be next in the initiative order.
Yeah, let go. Yeah, she has options for that, so let her try a thing.
Yeah, if you want to, try, Rika.
To catch the guy who's running?
Yeah, he just ran off into the darkness.
I don't think Rika even notices as he was there. So.
She probably doesn't, but Esoteric has yelled it a couple times. I'm not sure that... Yeah, you're right. Rika probably isn't paying attention. Yeah, Talia, your turn.
Based on that answer, I would dart off that direction and say, hop to, Rika. And I will dash off, leaving her behind to hopefully catch up.
Should I disregard? I think
How far can you go in one round?
normal movement speed is 50, but if I use my bonus action for Shadow Step, that's 60 instead of doubling 50, so 110. Well, actually, if I if I use my movement and bonus action, it's 110. If I also use my action for something for movement instead of attacking because I haven't yet caught him, then I could move another 50 again. I would move Shadow Step to right up to him and then attack with advantage because Shadow Step gives me advantage. So I can.
By the way, Esoteric, as you are looking this thing over, you do see it is branded with the sign of an upside down omega symbol. You would have to roll to know beyond that. This guy looks younger, frail. He has a green tint to his skin as he's fleeing, like full on. I mean, doesn't look very adept at running, but he is in full flight, and you just.
I would do in front. That's actually probably easier because it'd be in the shadow of the tree, which would remember my Shadow Step would put me. Yeah, I show up in front of him and just slash him across the front to both kind of halt his advance and take advantage of his forward momentum against me to provide an extra damage and penetration to the strike. Blood. And then extra attack if he's not finished I will wrench it the other way to take advantage of the counter momentum and have that really dig in. Leaning on my training.
Talia just
be moving in that direction, but I wouldn't be able to catch up.
Yeah, Talia just disappears. And you feel it hit home. Feel the blood come gushing out of the lower ventricle of the aortic bypass, right over your hands, just flowing warm over your hands. It's actually kind of disgustingly nice. It's so cold.
She thinks that exact thing. She's like, at first it's like, that's kind of nice, and then she shudders in revulsion at herself. She's like, no, that's not nice. That's gross.
No, don't.
She's slinging it onto the ground and trying to, barge it. And she's like, Rika, get over here and do that thing where you clean me up.
How far away are you?
Too far for you to hear me, but she's not rational at the moment.
But yeah, Esoteric, you know vaguely who the mark belongs to. You know it belongs to somebody on the first layer of hell. That's pretty much what you know.
Okay.
While I'm waiting them to catch up, I will rifle through the cultist robes and satchels if he has any.
You really shouldn't exert yourself so much, Talia. We must conserve our strength.
In Talia's defense, she's never seen anything like that. She didn't know how bad it was or not.
Well, that was an excellent blow you landed. I definitely appreciated that you were able to stun it.
I believe that Bone Devil was from the first layer of hell.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
I don't know if that means Zario is in league with Chuth or that was a coincidence.
Rika looks at you like she's surprised you think she should understand what any of that means. Zario?
Rika thinks you're speaking Draconic.
All I'm saying is that it's not a good prospect if denizens of hell are getting involved with this.
Well, we heard that the elves are fighting demons or devils somewhere to the south or the north. Rika looks at her hands. North is to the left, right? She kind of turns in a circle where she stands.
Yeah, I probably would have just come back after I had called the guy saying, robed guy's taken care of. He didn't really have much of anything on him. I was hoping there would be some information or something, but
yeah, who the hell was that? Is he like buddies with the devil?
I don't know. Got me. He wasn't really in any condition to talk when I finished with him.
Maybe he just had sympathy for the devil. So, I don't know. Rika shrugs, sits down. Let's just rest.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Oh, you're all dirty.
Yes. Oh, yeah, use wave the hand wave. Get it off.
It's soaked up into your clothes some too, but not much you can do about that. And also the mist everywhere keeps like sitting on your face, and then when you're just like, did I get blood on me? Like every time you feel the mist moving across your skin, you're like, shit, did I miss some blood?
Like when you think spiders are crawling all over you because you looked at one.
Yeah. Ugh. Talia shivers.
But yeah, Rika spends her short rest cleaning you up. Oh, excellent work, everybody. This Devil was, he looked pretty tough, but
He spent most of his life stunned, so it was.
Bone devils are often used more for intimidation than anything else. But yes, it was a fortuitous sequence of events, to be sure. It could have done damage to us, absolutely.
well, he seemed to single you out from the sky, Esoteric. You think he was sent after you?
It is possible, but I am also just rather undexterous. It's possibly just a coincidence.
So you guys take this half hour, let your blood cool down a little bit.
Considering the, what a servant of Zari will be doing here.
You guys notice, as you guys are heading into this 5th hour of travel, muttering on the air, you can hear other packs of people off in the mist that are not trying to be not heard. So they are just crunching across the ground, and you can tell that the amount of enemies per mile is going up considerably as you get closer to his lair. You hear voices. You see the glow of flames far off. 100 yards off, you just see the tiniest glow of orange. So the mist is getting lighter as you leave the edge of the forest, but it's still pretty heavy in there.
There's cultists in the forest clearly looking for us, clomping around the woods, we can tell.
Talia and Baishra can tell. You were kind of thinking about, I don't know what Rika's thinking. What is the Rika thinking about?
He's thinking about the Mayor of Dead Men.
Pollywokes.
Yeah.
Shall we slow? Or strategically ambush them, or try to avoid them?
I think we should ambush them, and we can pose as cultists.
You begin to hear howls go up in the distance. The howls of wolves. Sounds like maybe 20 of them-ish. You haven't seen any of them yet, but they are obviously moving in the same direction as you.
Is that our buddies? Our new allies?
Possibly.
We have allies now, right?
Do wonder how they will find us unless they're just heading straight to the lair, since they also know where it is. Perhaps, I don't know.
Seems like a lost cause. Every time we try to do stealth, esoteric just falls down a hill. And
Talia's like, shrugs her shoulders and says, fine by me. I'm fine playing lookout.
we need somebody to help him. Is what we need. So, yeah. Would Talia face any penalties doing that? I don't know how that works.
I'm sorry, I missed that. I was thinking about something.
Talia
What was
walks.
What?
You
If
were thinking of
Talia...
Talia walks.
Well, yeah, we could certainly try that.
Okay, so you guys head off north into the woods. You guys are moving a bit slower. You're going to lose some time on this hour. They barely even had a chance to see you then. Yeah, you guys, through this 5th hour, just keep your heads down and watch these groups passing. Make a little movement to the next, under the tree or in a clump of bushes. You are able to evade the eyes of everyone passing, even though this is an extremely live area of the forest.
Yeah, because I'm from behind and it's spraying towards his front, so it's not
You're like,
nothing,
"This
not a
is the
drop
way."
on me. And then I just basically I turn to see what I can see here now that I'm where I am, ready myself to intercept.
And you also see this other guy with a similar purplish energy swirling around him.
I'm going to take cover behind this rock and prepare a firebolt to shoot the first thing that I can see.
That's not Talia.
The first
She
enemy
didn't.
combatant
Hey, she didn't.
that I can see.
Don't you metagame? She didn't say it. He drags energy out of your body and slams it down into his friend, who coughs himself back to life as it stitches his neck back together.
Erika will put Aegis on Bishra and Esoteric. Oh, fuck that. She'll put it on herself and Esoteric.
We can. You said we can see within 20 feet of us. So
Okay.
now Talia is within 20 feet, and so are Vaisha and Rika, and I cast Bless on the 3 of them.
Nice.
Yeah, you guys feel this energy from him. I believe it's like inhaling smoke, but the good kind.
The good shit. Yeah, that's my turn.
Yeah, I'll just lash out with a normal strike to this guy to try to finish him off. Kind of coup de grace that.
Cool.
Yeah, I just, again, since it seems to become a common practice with spellcasters for me, just to be safe, I will just slice across the front to open his neck, and since he's already down, and I'll do a downward slice so that it pushes him further to the ground, so the blood spills out at my feet, and it doesn't get on me, so I can start to turn away before he's even finished falling to the ground.
You see it kind of shock him, and he looks over in your direction as you just appear behind him and stab into him. Bares his teeth at you.
Oh, wow. 14 that misses.
Lops with the sunlight.
I'm just here to threaten him. Surrender now, you punk.
He seems more focused on the person that's behind him. He's stabbing him, as you do. You're getting this primal savagery thing down.
Yeah, you gotta save my spell slots for the dragon.
That'll be enough, yeah.
Slice open his stomach.
Yeah, dude. Long claws, just like 3 knives across his stomach, just rip open the cloth that he's wearing over it, and his stomach just falls out onto the ground. Right in front of Rika.
What falls out?
His stomach.
Entrails.
Oh,
Entrails. You actually, yeah. Would anybody like to make an Arcana check on his entrails?
No.
Yeah, you guys were all attacking, and then Baisha comes over and does a serious slash to his stomach, and just gore pours out. But you guys are out of combat.
I'm going to check the cultists, mainly because I'm looking for information. But if they have anything of value, I will take it to provide for the group.
all right. Everybody, grab a robe. We need disguises.
Oh, good idea, Rika. I'll take the least bloody robe.
Just all
Not
cultist
a-
attire from Castle Nertar, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, but is it different colored? That's the
From
thing.
last season.
It is not the
Exactly.
same as these guys that you were seeing. Definitely. All of these guys are horribly, horribly bloody. That was a extremely bloody mess that just happened. So
Well, we can
take their
press to
robes,
digitate it, right?
press to digitate it. You might have to, if somebody has mending, because there's
I did hack
slashes
them up
across
pretty
them.
good, yeah.
Yeah. I think it might take a little bit of work to get them back into, like, fooling people's shape. But you could give it a try if you like.
Rika learned how to mend from Imsa on the trail.
That's true. I'm gonna sit over here and take a short rest while Rika's mending things.
Not the spell. I mean, like actually with thread.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
No, you're within a mile of probably the edge of the forest where you think you should be running into where they said this waterfall's going to be. If you spend a half hour here, you're looking at about 6.5 hours since you last saw the dragon.
We're trying to prevent the dragon from getting time to take a long rest. Is that what we're doing? Right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just gamble it. Let's push forward.
Okay.
Stealth mode is go.
Yeah. You guys are stopped by another group.
We're in cultist robes of poor repair. Does that help at all?
I mean, Talia and Rika have been doing this for years. So.
Yeah.
You guys, they are like, those two are cultists for sure. But then they look over at the other two and they're like, that is no way that they.
So
did this.
they turn to us and they're like, "Hey, by the way, those guys aren't cultists that are with you, so we should help us attack them."
Actually, I like that. Yeah. Intruders, they yell. And they point as if you should be on top of it.
Yeah, the fucking lizard man and the tiefling on cultist. What a shock.
Is more XP.
You just see this troll come in and just angrily yell and start running at you. He's a little more nimble than Dan was, and so he's able to dodge out of the way, but he brings his club around over the top.
Alright. So the troll gets some of this. Plus.
So these
So the troll takes fire.
send up fire, and he screams at it.
They still think I am a cultist at the moment, so I'm gonna holler out, "Traitor!" pointing at Rika, and run over here as if to join him. Yeah, so I'll just walk over here, and then I'm going to surprise attack him when I get over here by shanking him in the kidney.
So you guys down the troll.
I think we're fine. Did anybody get hurt, really?
I sure got pretty hurt.
Still 62 health. On a scale of 1 to 107.
I mean, we're alright.
As you inch in, the trees make odd formations. Where you would expect for there to be a non-uniform sprouting, instead you see patterns emerge. Branches of trees creating right angles, and other plants imitating similar lines, so you get this infinite repeating effect suggested by the vines, which are a deep green, almost black. There are sharply angled walls of briars. It's still nighttime, but you can see, as you come to the edge of kind of a glade, or a long, flat area devoid of trees, there's a camp with tons of fires, torches, people walking around with torches. There's a group of giants on the east and west side of this camp. On the north side of this camp, there's a lake, and there is a waterfall coming down to it out of a hilly mountainside that falls rapidly into this lake. As you guys are looking at this, that same little voice comes out of the side of the wood, and he says, "Are we moving?"
We're moving.
As
You're
he
a
arms
druid,
himself
right?
up.
Can you heal us?
I can.
It's the thing druids do, correct?
He says, "Here, just take some of these." And he pulls some berries out of a pouch and hands them to you. He sort of starts getting himself a little bit psyched up. He's kind of bouncing around, pounds his chest a little bit, his old chest. You can see his loose skin kind of wiggling. And then he slams his spine into the ground onto all fours. And brown hair shoots out of his skin. He gives a howl out over the night. You hear birds join the sound. You hear the yips of a jackal. And he starts running off into this glade towards the camp.
Yep, I will follow.
So you guys are running in towards this camp. The camp has already started to stir. You can tell there's all sorts of guards walking around with torches. They start hearing this howling from the woods, and yells start going up in the camp as you are approaching. It's not that far off from the edge of this wood, though, so they're just getting this information as they're seeing you coming in. You see lots of other shapes off in the night. You are following Thorvo, who is this brown wolf, and then a white wolf and a bear into this camp. The cultists come out with just like planks, and well, they also have flame, which they use pretty effectively against the bear. But he just starts mauling into these cultists. Like, they have no chance remotely. He just bowls over them and rips through their centers. Birds are flying past you, picking out cultist eyes. You see the giants off on the side being dragged down by swarms of wolves, and then an owlbear coming in to strike at its neck with its beak, sending huge sprays of giant arterial blood up into the air. And then it shrieks like an eagle. You guys do have help. They are blocking a lot of this camp for you, but you are going to have to take some of it on. It looks like as you get in closer, you're running through all this chaos.
Okay, this scattered group of like 6 or 8.
Yeah, there's one of those wizards. There's a bunch of just shabbily dressed cultists, mostly using some sort of two-handed weapon. One of the guys has a torch he's using. And bearded devil. I mean, esoteric obviously knows what that is. But it has huge green tendrils for a beard. Uses a glaive-type instrument as a weapon. Purple skin, humanoid.
Okay. Talia says, "Looks like we found our party. Time to dance." So she will bamf off and try to appear behind these wizards, because she doesn't, obviously, the bearded devil, she has no clue what it is, but she obviously recognizes these wizards and what they're capable of. She got quite familiar with dispatching them earlier, so that's going to be our first target.
What are the people doing up to the northwest?
They're fighting other things. They are off fighting. An owlbear came in and has taken up the attention. They are like surrounding it and stabbing at it with long objects.
What's the lighting like in this area?
Extremely good. Lots of people with fire. Most of the torch, these metal sconces they have, and lit with some sort of oil that is dripping on the ground.
I just didn't know if there were shadows that I could potentially attempt to use, but they're also
Yes,
pretty
there
far
are.
away.
There's harsh shadows.
Like, I'll dash at them like I'm going to charge until I'm like close enough in range of a shadow for one, and for two to teleport back here without them noting that that's what I've done, to catch this wizard by surprise.
You could definitely catch the wizard, yeah. He's wearing a big old robe, like impractical for fighting robe.
And then I will strike out from the shadows. Using the same modus operandi as earlier, I'm going to be trying to come up from behind and slice his throat, and then pull it down with the second strike to see if I can finish him off quickly.
You got him near the kidney, so he kind of rears back in an unmeant contraction. The bearded devil does turn over and notice you. The cultists hear him give this. It's not even a yell or anything. It's just a reaction of being stabbed.
Screaming gurgle.
And they turn towards you. They're going to come for Talia. They collapse. 12 damage. That's from a two-handed club that has nails going through it, catching you in the back. This bearded devils coming in at you. You saw Talia just jump in there, and they all just collapsed and started beating the shit out of her.
Yeah.
Talia takes it stoically. She doesn't utter a sound. She's just dodging and weaving most of it as best she can, but then she's inevitably getting hit by some of it.
You can move so fast, Talia. How did you get up there so fast? Good lord. In 3 turns, I'll be there. Don't worry. I think I'm just going to take the risk and throw a fireball at you.
Talia trusts you, so.
Oh, yeah. Alright, I'm going to throw my Aegis on Talia and me. Yeah, Rico dashes forward and does her, hand movements, and Talia feels energy envelop her, and then Rico does the, Hadouken as a golden fireball with lightning striking. It's a golden ball of energy, and then lightning gets kind of like trailing behind it, striking the ground around it as it moves through the air. And it slams right in front of Talia.
Knowing that there's this many around me and feeling her do the Aegis first, I kind of intuit what she's about to do, which is why I prepared myself to get out of the way. So, and then I do. So, yeah.
You just make this random jump in the middle of the fight, and they all look at you for just 1 second before it goes off with confusion. They're like, what the fuck was that about? And then it explodes, and all of these things set on fire. If they do live, they only live for a few moments of screaming agony. And then the bearded devil is the only one standing with his glaive, and even he looks just black, head to foot. Most of his hair has been burned off. Guys on the top left actually are up there fighting.
They're fighting the wolves, right?
They're fighting an owlbear right now. And the wolves are kind of biting at their heels as they're trying to surround this owlbear.
The only thing I can do is move and dash.
Just shuffling along in his sandals. It's high grass. It's not sandal friendly.
I don't have shoes at all. I have hooves.
It's kind of marshy. I'm pretty sure you have sandals in my head.
I have ankle warmers.
Still, marsh, not the best environment for hoofs. So yeah, you're moving forward slowly. This bearded devil looks like you would think, after having seen all of his compatriots burned to death in front of him, he might bat an eye, but he doesn't even seem to notice. He just is so focused on killing Talia.
Then she will do a roundhouse kick to his jaw. I'll say, bring it, ugly, and then I'll get in my guard position.
Yeah, again, you would think after having his body wrecked beyond repair, he would take some notice, but he doesn't. He's just into the fighting. And he starts swinging his glaive around at you again.
He just rushes forward and shoots a firebolt. It's like a little golden beam of energy, and it just kind of rakes him up along the ground, up his leg to the face, and
Oh,
it
nice.
shoots off, like back off into the sky. Sparks all over him. Just kind of catches on fire a little bit.
After all of this, he's trying his last breath to swing at Talia, and you catch him with a firebolt and falls back into the ground. There is still battle going on all around you. You see the lake in front of you. You see the waterfall mentioned. It's about 50 feet down a rocky face up a hill. It's still nighttime, but this area is fairly well lit. There's screams, roars, the sound of every type of woodland animal.
I'll look to my compatriots a dozen yards away and point and say, looks like we've made it. If you don't mind, Esoteric, you think you could cauterize this wound before we go diving into that murky lake?
Yes, on one condition. You don't go charging in to a mass of enemies alone. You know you're 10 times faster than all of us. That was an incredibly stupid idea.
But that wizard, he did want him to get any of his spells off. They're fairly nasty. She hangs her head contritely after realizing it. Sounds as ineffectual an excuse as it is.
A couple of wolves come in at this group around the owlbear, and the owlbear sees them. The wolves come around one side, and the owlbear runs out the other side. The wolves crash in on the guys around him, and then the owlbear, like he's playing Red Rover, just goes through these two from cultists, leaving a spray of blood up in the air.
Rika cheers. She's like, yeah, fuck him up, Owlbear. Alright, so where is Chuth? Does he live in the waterfall?
That's what we were told, right?
Are
There's
you
a
asking?
cave behind the waterfall.
Yeah, that's what we were told.
So we need a boat. Anybody have a boat?
Boat? No.
How will we cross the water? How do we stop a waterfall to get behind it?
You just walk through it.
You just walk through it. It's on a solid wall. It is water.
I mean, you can't just walk through Niagara Falls.
That's because there's a cave behind it.
It's because it's like 1,000 tons of water falling.
It's also like way smaller though.
Okay.
It's
That's
only,
what I'm
50 feet.
asking. That was my long way of asking.
What
is it
is
a waterfall we
this?
can
What
walk
is
through?
this Niagara Falls you speak of, Rika? Have you been to a waterfall before?
It looks like a river falling, right? Or is it just? It's big enough to cover up a cave, so I figure it's
I
a
mean,
big.
you're looking at
waterfall.
one.
Yes. No, it's a thin sheet. It still doesn't explain how you know what Niagara Falls is. One of the cultists says.
I kick his.
Yeah.
Go back to
Fucking
death.
decapitated head.
And there's a battle going on. Waterfall,
Maybe we can-
thin waterfall, not in any way
How
similar
how
to
far
Niagara
across the
Falls.
lake is the waterfall?
This is more like 40, 50 feet of swim. It looks like it is kind of back into this hill, so there may be ways around on the side if you want to check that out. You would be able to tell that, but it doesn't look at all clear from where you're standing.
Well, I doubt Esoteric can swim with his armor on, so we better start hiking around. Can't Baisha turn to like a pelican or something and just fly around and find us a path over there?
Yeah. Good.
You never transform into anything anymore.
Aisha says when the time comes.
Rika puts her hands on her hips. She does not look impressed. Holding out on us.
So you spend about 20 minutes. Remember, you guys are heading into your 7th hour coming into this camp. Since you have seen Chuth. Not necessarily since he's been resting, but since you have seen him. And so you're coming up on about 7 hours, 20 minutes by the time you guys find the path in here. There is a path between the cliff and the water on the western side, so you barely get wet as you enter.
Okay, is this where we sneak up on him, or are we just going to announce our presence and have him come out?
With the close relationship he has to his lair, as has been described to us, I don't know if it's even possible to sneak up on him in there. Once we enter, he's likely to be alerted. There's maybe some kind of like alarm or magical ward or something. I'm not very familiar with such things, so I can't. Is that something you could detect, Esoteric?
Possibly, but I think we should just go in assuming he knows where it is to spend the resources.
Well, I just want to make sure he doesn't go to sleep. He's
Setting
robbing me of
off-
my beauty sleep. He shall not have his.
In which case, yeah, setting off his alarm would certainly wake him. So all the better to discharge him.
We're just charging forward through the cave as best we can, I guess. Rika's got her sword drawn, casting light in a 30-foot radius. Just confidently walking forward, leading the group, I suppose. Constantly putting up her aegis on Talia and herself. Talia, you're looking pretty hurt.
I'm fine.
Your back is matted with blood.
It's dried and scabbed over. I'm fine.
It looks like you got hit with a club with spikes in it.
I did, in fact, get hit with a glove with spikes in it. It hurt quite badly.
You guys are coming into this cave. At the edge, the lip of this, it descends quite steeply down into another cave system back here.
So at this point, we should go at the same time. How big of a drop off from the lip is it?
It's like sliding down. It's about 40 feet down over the course of about 40 feet.
All together then?
Do it. It was nice knowing you all. But I'm sure we'll come out ahead. But just in case, I love you all.
Luca says this and then slides down the approach
Yeah.
with her hands in the air.
Rika, wait. At least let me give you a hug first. And then Talia plops down and slides after her.
Talia, much more careful, kind of shuffles herself along until she gets started. Yeah, you guys come to the bottom of this muddy slide. It's actually kind of incredible that more water doesn't flow down here. It's just raised up and off the ground to where the splash of the waterfall coming down doesn't break the lip to where it would come down and flood this area. But there is still a fair amount of moisture. You hear dripping sounds.
On high guard, trying to take in the surroundings. Aside from the dripping noise, is there any sounds emitting from the cave?
Yes, you can hear some low voices. Between the very sharp sounds of the water hitting, you're just getting this kind of low hum of voices when it happens. It kind of comes out and echoes around the chamber ahead of you. It sounds very wide, even though you're not in there yet.
I'll say, I hear somebody up ahead, but I can't make out. There's a conversation, so at least two people. Would you like me to scout ahead and return, or should we just proceed?
I mean, why just charge in and then attack? And we'll be 100 feet behind?
You specifically just told me not to do that, so...
Yes, it was sarcasm.
Oh. Yes, well,
I mean, the dragon knows we're here.
If you feel safe in taking a peek just so we can know.
I could probably do that. I mean, rather we be informed on what we're charging into instead of being surprised by it.
I think Talia, I think you should do your shadow step so that we're not all standing together.
Well, yeah, I was planning to make that as part of it, certainly.
So yeah. So, well, I'm just saying, like, before we even charge it there, like, you should just go ahead. You should just go ahead and be on the other side of the room.
Whilst after I report, I could step back to get in position for when we charge it. Yes, yeah, that is a good plan as well. But
Like, let's just go in. We don't have time. We got to kill this dragon.
Oh.
We don't need reports. Just go in there, teleport. We'll charge them.
There may be 30 people in there with the dragon.
Well, regardless, we're killing the dragon, so we have to get through them. So it doesn't matter if there are 30 people there. Right?
Well, yeah, but it gives us, we can at least then be able to form a plan. It seems extraordinarily reckless.
Kill everybody, right? They're all bad guys. They're all cultists.
Well, yes.
They're all working with devils.
It's a matter of how.
We'll figure it out. We're all more than capable of handling ourselves. Personal responsibility. Let's do it.
Agreed. Let's go.
All right, I was about to say, Talia looks at Esoteric pleadingly and then says that, and she just shrugged her shoulders and goes, okay. So she'll sneak ahead a bit, and with the intent to use Shadow Step once she gets further ahead. As for this, I'll just go, until I get a line of sight where I could Shadow Step forward to somewhere.
It is extremely dark in here. You are not getting a lot of information of what's going on around you. There's almost no reflected light in here. It's a very damp, dark cave.
As a part of that, then I'll lead the party 5 or 10 feet ahead and say, come on, come on, come on.
Okay, you notice in this room that you are currently in, one of the walls doesn't look like it lines up correctly. You can see there is a door here that it looks like you can probably get open, made of stone, made to look like the wall. You also have this larger path out in front of you.
I will point out this door to them, but I would continue on the larger path because that's the path that a dragon in dragon form would take.
This large chamber that you have come into has a 40-foot high ceiling set with massive stalactites. A pool with a small island in the southeast corner of the cavern is fed by streams of water dripping down from the rock. The southwest face of the cavern is a 25-foot high bluff. You are just barely making that out. You can see this bluff a little bit down here, and you can see the shape of people. There's an entrance over in both of the north and the west sides over there. This is a huge cavern. It just has a little island and a lake and island in the middle. You hear that low sound coming out again, and you're able to better triangulate it. And so forth.
Then I will sneak back through here.
They don't take notice of you, but you see these two Edens closer to you are younger, probably half-sized, which means they're like 5 feet taller than you. And then there's a big one over in the back that appears to be messing with something off in the corner. Not something you can see.
Okay.
And one of the Edens goes up to the other one and pushes him. And then you hear the guy saying the words back, and he's just like, oh, stop touching. In common.
No, I won't go any further. I will have spotted that, and I will just come back and inform them that passage does lead further south towards the bluff, but I can't check out what's there because there are 3 Edens that I can't get past without potentially engaging them.
After exploring, kind of looking around carefully, this is taking another 10-ish minutes.
So I'll say, my original plan to come to the island and go up is sound in theory, but that would leave you all fighting the Edens by yourselves, unless we just all went in there, said it is what it is. So I'm up for either. What do you all prefer?
Is there a reason we have to go up to that bluff?
Well, mainly because anywhere else we go, the people on the bluff are going to see us, and they're going to have the high ground to shoot down at us without us being able to retaliate.
So there's Ettins around the corner. Let's go kill some Ettins.
Alternatively, I could see what's north. Or to the left.
I don't think there's going to be any way we're going to be able to probably sneak through here without everybody screaming and yelling and them hearing a dragon roaring and all that stuff coming to help. So we really just have to clear out the whole place.
Okay.
Unless I'm just being dumb. I'm not being dumb, esoteric.
I have no insight on the matter.
I guess the issue is we just don't want to fight everything all at once. So we need to figure out how we're going to do that.
Well, the Ettins are relatively isolated, so the chances are we could kill them before anything else comes, but then the question becomes, who all is going to hear that, and does that pull everything in this complex, or just the next room, or what? Because I was hoping to discover where Chuth was in here, so that we can get to him as quickly as possible with fighting as little else as possible, but seeming more and more untenable. So, if we're going in to fight the Ettins, what order would we like to go in?
I guess I'll go first.
I will come last behind Esoteric, just A, to cover his rear, and B, because where I have the greatest movement speed, if I needed to come from the rear to in here, I could.
I sure middle because can't see shit.
Okay.
Well, before combat, Rika casts Fire Shield on herself.
And you have Aegis on Talia?
Yeah, and myself.
These first 2 look like they are smaller than the ones you fought before. The one in the back looks larger than the ones you fought before. Grundager goes first. This is the big one in the back of the room. They have no idea that you are here yet.
Okay, I want to try to get into the middle of them. I'll just Flame Blade this big one back here.
He kind of looks over his shoulder. He looks over both of his shoulders, actually, at you as you do this. Gets up and towers over you. This is the biggest one you've seen, probably 30 feet tall, and it's like crouched down in this cavern.
Rika size, yeah.
Yeah, whichever one attacked her first, my ready action to throw a dagger.
Hits. Yeah, this guy just got hit with a dagger and then lava, and he's fucking pissed.
Is that the first time Fire Shield's actually ever worked? Pretty sure.
And then he feels the spike particularly susceptible to psychic damage, and he just falls to his knees and starts screaming like he can't figure out what's happening. Drops his weapon.
I will come up behind this guy and just sneak attack him from behind while he's focused on Rika.
You see him screaming at the ceiling with this imagined pain he's having. Drops his weapons, and you're like, okay, this is a good moment to come in. Just comes slicing across his neck as he falls to his knees. Shrieks, and then you see his eyes roll back in his head, and still has a scream going as he falls limply to the ground.
Alright, gonna keep attacking big guy here. 50 Radiant Fire.
Yeah, again, She's swinging the weapons out at you, uh, yelling in this language you don't understand.
Speak common, damn you.
There we go. He hits one time. 6 damage.
Who's he hit?
Rika.
And it gets a fire shield.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess this guy's probably not smart enough to figure it out. This is the one up at the top, one of the smaller ones. And he cannot figure out what's going on with his shield, but he just knows that he has to bash something. Pretty much his entire mental scope at the moment.
I will toll the dead.
Okay, that's going to be enough to take this guy down. This huge dancing creature who is actually making the floor. I mean, this is a stone cavern, and you can feel the pound of her through the floor as she's clunking around in here. Dies the same way as her brethren, just apparently in horrible internal pain as if she's burning from the insides, and she's clawing at her face, clawing at her eyes, big red marks across her face, and she falls to the ground.
Okay. I'm guessing that was you, Esoteric. That was horrific.
We should move quickly.
All right, Rika charges up this path.
Maybe not that quickly. A little more caution.
Rika sees a door. Well, it's actually kind of a broken down door, but it does have a lock on this side, like a padlock and a chain.
Oh, okay. Well, Rika stops short and looks back at Talia. Motions her forward.
Talia will come forward as requested and inspect the lock to see if it is something that she's capable of jimmying open.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a normal lock. You'd pick it, no problem. This thing is like, it's a little bit rusty. You just know exactly the place to get it, and you open this thing up. Do you actually open the door as well?
No. I get it unlocked and take a step back and say, "The way is open, madam," and bow theatrically.
Rika rips the chain free and barges through the door.
You guys went from this huge, screaming Etten fight to just complete silence as you're waiting for Talia to work this out. And then it gives you the signal, kicks open the door. Right inside, you see a knight with a sword. He is in full plate armor. There are a few other people around him who look like they aren't fighters and they don't have any sort of weapon. You see a few people dressed in high fashion robes. Everyone's looking at you. The knight doesn't have his sword out, but he does have his hand on his sword. You just busted in with your glowing sword out.
I'm just gonna stalk towards him with my sword drawn, ready to kill him.
The knight says, "Is it a duel?"
I just attack him.
Yeah, he pulls out his sword as well. As soon as you don't answer, you just come in and attack him.
Flaming Rika just attacks. Rika has to smash.
Yeah.
All right, I'll just use Flame Blade.
You bring it up and you slice across his chest. It cuts through part of his sword, like the tip of his sword where he tried to block you, and just slams across his chest and sends him flying to the ground. He is still moving, but he looks severely fucked up. And there's a bunch of screams from all the people. The nobles back away. You also see somebody as you get a little bit closer in that looks a bit like a mage. He begins casting in your direction.
Eat the rich, Baishra.
Talia will follow Rika into the room, survey it, and I'll dash to interrupt the wizard casting the spell. I will shadow step into range of him and attack him.
All these people are just screaming. You see the light of magic stop swirling around him as he gives a curse.
I'll say, "Where's Chuth?"
Do these people all look hostile? Right?
No. The knight has his sword out. although it kind of flew across the ground. The mage was casting a minute ago. You wouldn't have been able to see that. The nobles and the other people don't appear to have any weaponry. They're just yelling.
Like crying or yelling in anger?
Like crying. In surprise.
Yeah, Viceroy will just walk in and shout stop in common.
This leads to the noble and the mage's turn. They have just heard you yell stop. Except for just running away from you. They're not going to do anything. The knight crawls away from Rika. And the mage says, please put your arms down.
I'm going to hold an action. I will cast Toll Death if anyone attacks someone in my party, including me.
Rika sheathes her sword, and the fire wreathing her diminishes in intensity. There's just like a pilot light kind of flickering around here and there. She walks over to the knight and helps him up. Extends her hand.
But he's not really in a position to turn down aid at this point. He's looking really bad. It's like, what is happening? I thought maybe Chuth finally decided to kill us.
My apologies, Sir Knight.
Huh. He goes over and they actually have like pretty decent. He's got like a little side chair that he can sit on. He's got little poofy chairs around the room for all the nobles. They have nice beds back in the corner. There's a couple nice beds back there. It actually does not look like a terrible setup now that you're getting a look around. What can we do for you? One of the nobles speaks up. We want no trouble.
We're here to slay the dragon and lead you all to safety. Which kingdom are you all from?
We are from the surrounding lands, not far off.
How did you all get here?
Chuth has taken us captive.
Like, did you ride him to get here?
No, he marched us in with his armies.
Well, can you point us in the right direction?
Kind of waves over the mage towards the knight. The mage starts taking a look at him. I'm sorry, we cannot share any information. You must understand, he has us here only if we do not try to escape. Our knights and our mages will protect us, but they are no match for Chuth. If you will lead us out, we will follow you. From a few people around the room, he just kind of gets some nods.
Yeah, let's lead them out. The druids outside can help them. I hope.
And we better kill the dragon too. But I guess I'd rather be out there with a chance than in here, waiting for him to...
Okay, well, I draw my sword and lead the way back down the dark passageway.
You lead them quietly. You know that the rest of the cave must know something's going on, but nobody's come into this room. When you get back to the main cavern, you begin leading them along this wall, sort of watching expectantly over to the right there, and nothing comes out. The sound of the Edens must have gone all the way through this cave. There's no way somebody didn't hear that. But if anybody was here, they haven't come out to check. So you guys lead them back to this 45-foot drop in the rock that they have to climb back up. Then you have... This whole process is going to take you about a half hour of leading these people out to the druids. You still want to do that?
Yeah.
Coming up on 8 hours since you've seen the dragon.
Okay.
Okay. You lead them out. The battle is still kind of raging. in different parts. The part that you lead them out to is pretty quiet, though. It's towards the edge of it.
You probably had them like, yeah, just stay in the woods, like on the path on the other side of the lake, just kind of waiting for the battle to be over.
They are like, "Why are you being so nice to us?"
We're heroes from Waterdeep.
Well, thank you, heroes. I owe you my life. The noble says, and most of the other people nod their heads. The knight, however, does not nod his head. He does not look like he's accepting your apology. You should know there is some sort of passage beneath the water that Chuth slips into.
That is really good to know. I never would have thought to look there.
I don't know if you could get in that way. None of us have ever been down underneath to look through the cave. But if you corner him, he will undoubtedly try to flee that direction. Thank you for your help. May I ask your names?
Esoteric.
I'm Rika Mikagami from Waterdeep.
Rika Mikagami, esoteric. He looks up to the lizard man.
Lizard man looks back.
I am in your debt. And he leaves towards the woods unless you guys say anything else.
What's your name, stranger?
As he's walking away, Baron Tolston.
Does it look
So
pretty
you guys-
safe now that the wolves still battling, or are they? I guess it's all over now, right? But
The battle's died down a bit. It looks like most of the cultists have either been run off or are dead. There's a number of bodies of elves that look like they have been killed during the battle, whether they were druids or not, but they are shifted back into their elf forms. I don't know, how far are you looking into it? I guess before you go back in.
I was just gonna head back in.
you think we need to help them? Esoteric?
I think that is not within our purview at the moment.
Oh, okay.
They knew what they were getting themselves into. The innocents we rescued did not.
That's true. Let's go find that dragon. Rika cracks her knuckles and walks back up the slope to the cave.
Is
We
what
could
I
just-
was hoping to
Rika
accomplish.
just figured that
Figure out-
the grand design of the universe would not allow them to fight a dragon with only 22 hit points left. So she just acknowledged that there's probably enough things in her way between her and the dragon that the dragon's definitely going to get a long rest in. So she just said,
and
"Fuck it."
for
She said, "Fuck it. Let's help these
esoteric,
people
I
out."
mean, esoteric is chaotic good. Like, helping the innocent is above all for him.
If you and Rika are leading them out and Bifur can decide what he wants to do, I was going to continue investigating.
Okay.
The stealthing through the north
Yeah, I
passage.
said it was going to be like a half hour, so you could do some
Yeah.
like serious stealthing in that time. If you want to go further past that, you're going to be walking in between enemies to get through this room. Oh, I don't
What
know.
I would do is probably stealth, then shadow step to that 60 feet. That I've got my cloak and I've got the
You are alone
all the
in
training.
this entire dungeon.
26.
Okay, all right. If it was the natural one, Talia was dead. Okay,
But-
then what you find is the chamber where apparently all their beds are.
And it's nobody's there.
Nobody's there. No, they're all out in this common area.
And who was this out that I saw? Is this other more nobles or other?
Other. These people look as if they have weaponry and armor on and are ready for people to be coming in.
So like they're looking this direction like to see if somebody's coming.
You only were able to make that shadow step because they're giving you so long to do this. Your friends are giving you a half hour to scout what could take you like 30 seconds. So you were able to do
Right.
this so slowly and carefully that you were able to get in.
Like, I'm waiting for the perfect opportunities to do specific things that,
Right.
give me the most optimal advantage.
Well, you're actually coming down this last hallway. You see it. There's a tapestry here with a door behind it. And that's what leads into this hallway. You see a very well-dressed room. You don't see anybody in that room at the moment.
If I've not seen anybody in the room at this point, I'll creep closer, of course. Yeah, are there any passageways?
No, there does not appear to be any exits from that room. There's a chest, there's a nice bed, there's a number of jewelry items on like a side table next to the bed. There's art along the wall. It looks well done.
Is there any, like, documents or anything in the nightstand that you mentioned?
Ooh, you want to go looking through the nightstand. You find a series of papers. One of them refers to the holder of the blue dragon mask and his location at a tower.
I was going to say, I'll just rifle through them real quick. I'm not going to do in-depth investigation of what I've found. I'll just note, all this looks important, like the thing you just said. I was like,
Stick
oh,
it in
that's
your bag.
and then stick it in my bag. And then
Yeah, that's pretty much what you've noticed in this room. It looks, I mean, it's, for being in the middle of a damp cave, it looks like a noble, like a king lives in this room. It's ridiculous.
I will check out the chest.
Sure. Yeah, check out the chest. There is gold, there is silver, copper, a few jewels.
I will grab, remembering that Esoteric and Vitra are always mentioning jewels, I'll grab a handful of jewels and a handful of gold and just stuff them in my pocket and go move on. I'm going to spend like all of 10 seconds doing that. Just more of a opportunity kind of thing.
That and getting back out to this area would be about a half hour. Because you're going to have to wait to get past those guys again.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay, so you guys reconvene. Talia has just searched out most of this building, and you got gems and a bunch of letters that you haven't been able to sort through yet.
Yep.
And you guys are all reconvening in this main first hall behind the waterfall. It's a wide family of stalactites that trickle, drop, and stream into a pool on the far end.
As they approach back in, I'll say, don't make too much noise. Hopefully they thought we just retreated entirely, but I've scouted the place out a bit. Still no direct sign of a dragon, but found some well-appointed rooms that he may stay in human form. That said, there's about a dozen cultists in a barracks just around that bend, and I'll point the direction they have not been, that I had to sneak by. So we could either barricade them in there somehow so that we don't have them at their backs, or we have to fight them before we look on. I'd rather not do that if we don't have to, but we're short on time as it is. Any other ideas as to where to look for the dragon? I'm kind of lost.
Is there an area down this way?
Yeah, the guy said there was a passage through there.
I said that was like in the water.
That's in the water, aren't you talking about?
Oh, I thought you meant the water outside.
Oh. Well,
Like
no,
in
he
the
would have.
giant-
I think he probably would have explained it better than I did.
Okay.
Chuth comes down and goes into this water and doesn't come out for like days at a time.
Okay.
So he's pretty
so,
sure that it goes somewhere.
Okay, so yeah, so it's down that way.
In the lake?
Not in the lake, in the little pond inside of the bay.
Well, pond, yeah. She's pointing at this. She called it a lake because she's, not up on such thing. But yeah, you're right. Pond is a better descriptor. Any ideas how we go about going down there? I can't hold my breath for that long.
Baisha says it may not be deep.
If you guys go over, Rika probably has her sword. Well, Rika, do you have your sword out? I guess would be the question.
Yeah, she would always have it out, I think, since we're not. Well, we're
I don't know if you're sneaking at the moment.
Yeah, I'd have
Is
it
it
out
just-
probably for Baisha unless somebody tells me to put it away.
Yeah, you'd be able to see. It's. It might just be going out of your range, but it might be like 50 feet deep. It's pretty deep. And this pillar comes up in the center and just makes a little island.
Water like clear?
Yeah, it's actually surprisingly clear. I mean, there's stuff. There's a subtle, tiny ground-up plant matter, but
I look up over at Esoteric with complete seriousness and I say, "Is this dragon pee?" No.
Talia's eyes just get wide, both unsure if either surprised at the absurdity of the question or worried that it might actually be the case.
Dragons do not have the predilection to bathe in their own waste.
Okay, that makes sense. Talia pretty much believes everything Esoteric says. Rika. Did I say Talia?
I actually don't know. I'm that much out of it.
you guys are all as you're in this giant cave, thinking that you have found yourselves here again. Especially you, Talia. Like your body thinks you might be going underground for another month or two.
We like
It's-
crap the water somehow, so if he like comes over to it, he gets hurt.
Not without potentially hurting ourselves. Anything that's going to hurt him in the water would definitely hurt us.
Ah, what if I pee in the water?
She looks at you flatly.
Baisha will walk over, to the pool, cast daylight on his staff.
Yeah, you guys hear the clinking of armor from the north, where you guys already know there's people down there. They don't. You kind of wait for a second, and they don't seem to come down the hall or do anything, but you do hear them reacting to your guys' presence.
And then Baisha will just jump into the pool, or wade into the pool. I'm wading into it to go under and see if I can find a path.
See this cave in there? It's about 15
Lizard
feet
folk
by 20 feet.
Lizard folk have a swimming speed equal to their movement speed, unlike humans.
Yeah, lizards can actually swim.
Oh, cool. So you're actually better at this.
They
shit.
use their tail for... Yeah, that's totally how alligators swim.
That's fucking dope. Okay, so yeah, you get down there dopely and look at this cave. It is absolutely filled with spiky vines. The entire thing. You would have to like push through the vines to get through.
They also can hold their breath for 15 minutes.
It makes sense to me, yeah. They have slower heartbeats.
At that point, Baisha will pop his head back above the water, but keep the staff below it. You can see him clearly in the pool because how much light's coming off of the staff.
Yeah, and it's the only light that you guys can really see. There's no other light in here. It's actually really bright.
Baisha will just say cave in here and then head back down.
I'll say, what do we want to do about those guys? Pointing in the direction of the northern cabin, talking to Esoteric and Rika.
Well, they're either waiting for us in ambush, maybe? I don't know. Or they're afraid of us. Yeah, I bet it's that.
She'll think on it a moment. And, well, either way, either don't want to give them what they're expecting, or, like as not, they've been told not to intrude upon his waterbound lair themselves, so very much doubt they'll be following us. So. On we go then. She looks at them both in question and in turn, like looking back and forth between them. Is that armor going to be a problem, Esoteric? Going underwater?
Probably. But I don't have a choice.
Anything we can do to help you?
No.
Oh, well, I mean, Rika's really strong. She can maybe help hold you up.
I mean, I'll do my best. I'll try not to let you die.
Okay, I'll go see what Baisha's found then. And she will proceed to dive after him.
The water is absolutely freezing. And you have to get over that for a second before you can fully take it in the scene. The vines, they're kind of lazily shifting across this huge cave. You really can't see anything beyond that. The entrance to the cave and then these vines. That's all you can see. And these vines do seem to have very sharp thorns.
Baisha's waiting for everyone else to come down because he has the giant light thing.
Okay. Well, it's like I'm thinking to myself that Rika's fiery blade might be able to dispose of some of the thorny vines to wide enough to make an entrance. So I'll just float.
I think my fire's going to work down here very well.
Magical fire.
I mean... Okay. Esoteric, are you going to stay here or what? Or are you just going to hold your breath and jump down there? Hope for the best.
No, I'm just gonna... I'm just gonna go.
Alright, here.
I was gonna cast guidance on myself before I submerge, which may or may not come into play, but it's something.
I'll cast in... Fuck, why not? I'll cast Enhance ability on Esoteric. Rub my hands together. I say like a little chant. A little, Japanese chanting. And then I, place my hands on you and you get bull strength. You feel the strength of the earth flows through up into your feet and up through your body. You feel as strong as a bull.
This is an odd feeling to you, Esoteric.
Hey, at least he's got the cloven feet and everything to go with it.
So Erika just dives in.
Esoteric gets all swole. He's just beefy. Erika dives in, not cold at all, heads to the bottom. You see the same thing.
Yeah.
And everybody just standing there looking at these vines.
Rika draws her sword and starts trying to hack at them.
Okay, yeah, you make a good slice through these vines, but it doesn't get rid of all of them. They're still there. Would you like to move forward and try to move forward into that space? So you can start
Sure.
keep hacking?
Yes.
The ones that are remaining actually reach out to grab at you.
Oh
And
no.
lash themselves around your limbs and
Whoa.
pull back their hooks into you. Yeah, no, you pull her back away from it. I'm sure she recoils once this happens. That's
Oh, that hurt. That hurt really badly.
You just barely entered this cave. You're in like the first 5 feet of the cave. You can't see down to the end. You can't see anything past like the next 5 feet of vines. It all
Okay.
just looks like green.
Then I struggled to escape.
Yeah, Talia helps you back. The water around Rika is just it's just blood, a little bloody cloud forming around her.
And how close on 8 hours are we getting now?
Very close. Since you've seen him, it's been 7 hours and 45. You spent 15 minutes doing this. You were 7:30 when you got back to the cave.
Well, we've got more time than 15 minutes because it's not like he went to
Travel time.
sleep in the sky after we last saw him. He had to travel, and then he didn't immediately fall asleep the second he got here. He had to actually go to sleep. So I mean, there's some lag here. I'm at a loss. I don't have much in the way of abilities here. Let's see.
That part that you went at with your sword, Rika, has regrown in the last few moments.
As soon as Rika cut through, like they grew back.
Yeah, I mean, soon afterwards, yeah. It looks like you might be able to brute force your way through if you just went and took the damage and kept hitting. It does not seem traversable. And the vines very obviously were magically affected in some way. And none of you are super dexterous in the water. You have no chance of avoiding that damage.
Does it look like that if we go through it, we will each all take the damage, or just the person in front?
You saw how quickly it regenerated. You would probably be able to make a good estimation on that. That it would grow back. And you would each
Like between each person?
Yeah, you would probably each end up dealing with it. The Baron did say that he did not know if you would be able to get through this way. But he said he would escape this way. Tried to escape if you cornered him.
Well, that's presuming he's not already down there. I mean, we have to find him to corner him, and he doesn't appear to be anyone else in this cavern.
Well, Rika starts swimming to the top. She urges Esoteric to follow.
I will as well, since I can't hold my breath as long as Spytra, so
You
I
guys
would
just
help.
both, yeah.
I would help Rika help Esoteric up if he needs it.
All three of you kicking, it's not too bad. You guys get him up to the surface. Everybody is wet and cold except for Rika, who is just wet. Baisher shakes himself like a dog and is perfectly dry in a second.
Is there any magic that would turn water to stone? Or something like that?
No? Rika says suspiciously confidently.
Yeah, this cave is very quiet. All you hear is the echoes of droplets on the water that do kind of have a cool reverberation effect in a room of this size and odd shape.
Alright. I guess we just keep searching the lair. Let's go fight some guys. Or do you guys want to take a rest? I'm sure if we just take a rest and put down a hero's feast, he'll just come to us.
Talia laughs exhaustedly, but, can't help herself but to find it funny. Not a bad plan.
I mean, I feel like those other guys are just waiting for us, so I don't know. I don't think that Chuth will just let us stay here for several days. He'll show up eventually. We could just wait it out. If we go forward, we're going to fight those guys. If we stay here, they'll either come out and fight, or they'll just stay in there, and then eventually Chuth will come out. So, I guess
Well-
worst case scenario is we have to fight Chuth and these guys at the same time.
Well, we could fight those guys now and then set up camp here while we try to wait Truth out, like set some alarms to barricade ourselves up in one of the barracks here.
All right. Well, are you all ready to fight?
Ready as I can be at the moment, I suppose.
Baishra, will say to Esoteric and Draconic that if he is able to recover and we do not, we will be in grave danger.
All right. Well, let's just go fight these guys then. We're wasting time. Rika just pulls her sword and charges forward.
You guys all see Rika go into the room. She starts sliding on some liquid they put on the ground that Talia didn't notice last time. Just eats shit and lands on her ass as she's walking into this room.
She just laughs at herself.
But Talia comes. Talia jumps over her protectively.
She just busts out laughing, laughing way too hard at what just happened to her.
These are well-armored. They appear to be human. Most of them are wearing masks. They all have swords out. They're all ready for you to come in the door as you're coming in, and they react as a group. Dragonclaws are going to collapse towards Rika. They do not find it as amusing as you do. And you are quickly fending off an attack.
Rika will use her reaction to cast Shield.
They all come striking in at you, and you are just able to, through a combination of your sword and this wind shield you're knocking them aside with, you're able to keep them off of you. Their blades land in the dirt beside you.
Toledad, the first guy I say that lefty guy.
That's enough. You see him grab his head and then rip off his helm and start screaming at the ground and then fall to the floor, blacked out.
Okay, and then I'll move up beside Talia.
This Dragon Fang from this side is going to come at Rika. He's going to multi-attack. Yeah, again. You see him coming and you're able to stop it. Instead of with the sword, which you're using on your other side, you just hold up your hand and this blade clashes into it with somehow distributing the force along your arm so that it doesn't break your hand apart.
I'll move up a little bit and then cast an Ice Knife in the cluster of the guys. And the way Ice Knife works, it explodes and hits everyone within 5 feet of that person.
That's Rika too.
Yeah.
But that is also 3 of the 4 guys that are surrounded there. Yeah, Rika's seen this before with the gibbering mouthers. She sees the knife coming in just for a second and is able to close her eyes and duck out of the way.
Guess I'm just gonna green flame blade somebody.
Yeah, that does not hit. Swing across him. It's just a flurry of blades coming at you, and so you're a little bit off in your reasoning, especially the fact they're wearing kind of cloaks. So you get a Toro effect, and you end up not catching any flesh. They hear their leader just shocked, unacceptable sound. That is a 24 to hit, Rika.
She's gonna shield again.
Yeah, these guys are just not on your level.
Yeah, but if it was anybody but Rika, they'd be chopping him to pieces.
You're reminded forcibly of the wolves taking down the giant outside.
Can I see this white icon guy from where I'm standing?
Yes.
Gonna Toledad him.
The other dragon fang's going for Rika again.
It slides past her forearm and pierces her shoulder.
But
Between
out of
her
all these
breast and her
hits,
shoulder.
only one got through.
She cries out in pain as her silk dress begins being colored a darker shade of red by her own blood.
So I'll just sniff again.
Rika bullet times.
Yeah, it shards out. It hits these 3 guys over on the right. One of them goes down just from the shards going into his body, and the other 2 look severely wrecked. Slicing ice into their leather.
Alright, I'm gonna try to booming blade him. I put some lightning into my sword and thrust it at him, and it just explodes into him. Blows his armor off.
He brings his sword down into your arm for like a serious blow. And you just angrily one-hand your sword into him, and he just explodes with crackling energy from the center. The shards of his armor go flying across his friends. Be the other Dragonclaws, they're going to come forward. 3 of them take a swing at you within the next 6 seconds. These other 2 are kind of hanging back, waiting for an opportunity.
I'll put a shield up.
They all come in. Just nothing. Everything's glancing off the side.
Oh, I need to do a concentration check from taking that damage earlier.
Okay.
You're still strong, Esoteric. For whatever that's worth.
By sure, you're kind of impressed by Esoteric's muscles.
They look delicious.
No, that's not what I meant. I mean, he's very in shape. He's impressed.
Alright, now I will walk up to Rika and... trying to think what... yeah, I'll do it. I'll do Cure Wounds.
Rika, you feel your wounds reknitting painfully with fire, but you know that eventually this pain wears off and the scabs fall away.
You perfectly healed the critical hit to my shoulder.
Dragonfang is going to try to hit Talia.
Anyway, so I take 10 damage of the 15 because it's 5 of it's ablated by the armor, right? Sorry.
Yes.
Of the stone ages.
Ages. Right. Stone ages.
I never believe him. I'm just gonna ice knife again.
Yeah, you obviously kill the one at the center of the pack. These guys have already been sharded by ice before. That's 3 of them down. The other one needs to save, and he does not. So he's going to go down as well. You just see these ice knives stabbing into their bodies. Just tons of them.
Just one guy left. I'm going to move my Aegis from Vishra to Esoteric. I'm going to move up to threaten the guy that Talia is fighting so that she can get her sneak attack. And then I'm going to take the dodge action.
Lose the distance there so that I'm back to back with Rika.
Toll dead.
For some reason, this guy's got a little additional resistance to you, a little resilience against this sort of damage. They all attack you except for one that attacks Talia.
So yeah, yes.
Alright, now I'll use my reaction and counter attack.
You hit him with your sword and you put like a ton of force into it because you're used to like hitting dragons. So you just slice through half of his body and then again he just explodes like that other guy. You're like, oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. And there's like gore everywhere up on the ceiling dripping down.
Oh my gosh. Talia, I'm sorry.
I feel like I should spend my turn like wiping gore off my face.
Toll dead.
Dies screaming in agony around the bodies of his friends.
Oh.
Talia and Rika are similarly covered in gore as they usually are at the end of battles.
And then, like, as he collapses, like, black smoke comes out of his mouth and eyes.
Yeah.
Talia
I
just looked
will
weary.
take out my healer's kit and I will say, "Hey, Rika and Talia, let me give you a small patch up." So I'll spend 2 uses. It takes an action each, so that long. Two charges of my healer's kit.
You can do that?
Yeah, it's a feat I have.
Talia looks at her bandaged forearms and flexes a fist back and forth just to test them. And oh, thanks, that helps a lot. Pats down her ribs a little bit, double checks.
Thanks, Esoteric. I feel so much better. He says, admiring your muscles. She shakes her head and kind of snaps out of it.
Talia's just shaking her head.
Good job with the ice attacks, Baisha. You really cut them to shreds.
Yeah, that Rika or Talia perks up and says, "Yeah, that was amazing."
Baisha then just says, "Now what?"
Well, I'll point to this entrance over here and say, "Well, there's a storeroom and some fine sleeping quarters with a single bed that way. It's all that I can tell. Maybe y'all can see more."
During loot.
Oh yeah, there's a huge chest full of gold and gems and stuff. But
Oh.
maybe we could set up a barricade in this corridor and rest in there.
Where's the gems?
There's a chest in the bedroom. I'll show you. Maybe there may be a hidden passageway or something y'all can see that I didn't. I don't know. I will lead them down the corridor and show them in here.
Rika, you see the same thing. Everybody who follows. This room is lavish. I think it would be lavish in a castle. There's like jewels and pearls hanging around and pictures, and it's just so out of place. It feels weird to have all of this stuff in the middle of a damp cave. Like tapestries up around.
Is there anything immediately valuable Rika can put into her bag of
Yeah.
holding?
You could take some gold. Talia already opened the chest, I believe,
Oh.
last time.
Is this safe, Talia? She says,
Yeah,
putting her hands towards the chest.
Go ahead. I already grabbed one small bag of gems to give to Baisha and Esoteric later, since they're always talking about needing them for spells and stuff. I just didn't want to spend a lot of time gathering loot when we could do that later, but I mean, it's
Rika-
open.
Quick throws open the thing and just starts shoveling money into her bag of holding.
With a cursory search, you don't find anything. Maybe 15 minutes. Doesn't mean nothing's here. This room, like I said, there's shit all over the place. For him to hide something would not be that hard. You guys are passing 8 hours since you've seen the dragon at this point. Just a little bit past. Like 8:10, 8:15, something like that.
Is Rika able to empty the treasure chest? About that.
You get 200 gold, 500 silver, and about 1,000. Well, yeah, just call it 1,000 copper if you would like it. You don't have to take the copper if you don't want to. And yeah, you would have gotten all of that out of the chest.
Can she take some of the paintings? Are any of them pretty? Or are they all like modern abstract stuff?
You could call them pretty.
What's this one with all the Campbell soup cans on it?
Most of them are depicting animals fighting or people killing each other or animals. Most of them involve violence in some sort of way. Some of them are like large-scale battles, which, I mean, can be kind of a beautiful thing to look out over. There's nothing pretty, I guess.
You like any of these, Talia?
What? She says she's been busy looking around with Esoteric.
While you're searching, she's like, well, the paintings. Are any of these paintings something that's kind of your style?
Not really.
You don't like this one that's like a lion killing a bull? Not really a thing.
No. I appreciate the thought.
Just waiting, listening.
Let us proceed through the cave.
There's nowhere else to go. Talia says. That direction there is a storage room.
Oh, what's in there?
Boxes. Yeah, crates of food.
What kind of food?
I didn't look that closely.
Rika goes and investigates the food.
There are huge crates of potatoes, beets, anything that'll last for a while. There's bags of salt. There's a little bit of meat, but it's not very much. It looks like it has been caught and cut recently. You could take as many of the store items as you want. I mean, this is enough rations to last an army.
Rika takes 2 bags of salt.
You get 2 40-pound bags of salt.
Oh my god, that's a huge bag of salt. Okay, 1 bag of salt. Jeez.
You have to push it into your bag so it fits.
Wait, Talia says, wait, Rika, that just gives me an idea. Could we dump the salt into the pond and salinate the water and maybe kill the vines?
I don't know.
That would
Why are
probably
you asking me
take too
for?
long.
Yeah, you're right. She says to Esoteric, who is knowledgeable about such things.
I mean, Rika takes, a few spare potatoes and whatnot to restore some of her cooking supplies, but unless there's like bags of spices or anything besides the salt, she's not that interested.
No, nothing like that. This is pure army food.
Any alcohol?
Yeah, there is 1 huge barrel of
Is there anything we can cut open for a nice hiss?
it's beer. There's almost no flavor to it if you were to try it.
No, thanks. Don't want dragon cultist beer. Just dragon cultist salt for me. Well, I guess the dragon mysteriously died of natural causes. Let's go report back to the elves.
No, I don't know where he is, but if I had to guess, he's in his underground water lair thing, trying to keep safe while he recovers. But I'd wager this is where he normally sleeps, gesturing around to the bedroom. Anybody have anything where we could barricade this room up in some way?
Crates of beets.
Something the dragon couldn't dismantle in about 30 seconds?
I feel like I've seen Bishra move the earth before, but
Bishra says to Esoteric, I don't have any of that shit prepared. Draconic.
No.
I wasn't planning on being in a cave. I was planning on being in a swamp.
I genuinely didn't remember that Bishop could do that.
I mean, I think we're going to need to take a rest. We're going to have to spend the night here.
I think it is highly unlikely that we'll be able to spend the rest, but I see no alternatives. We may as well try. And then in the worst case scenario, the dragon comes to us. Or not worst case scenario, just normal scenario.
Right. That was my thinking as well. It's like, at the least, we could fight with as we are now, and he would come to us with us having to traverse that. And in the best case, we actually get some rest. But either way, I figured rest safely. That's why I was seeing if we could lock it up. But I can at the very least set an alarm spell to let us know when there's a breach of the perimeter, so that we aren't taken by surprise.
Yeah.
Isn't the dragon like a wizard, though? Well,
I didn't say it was a perfect solution. I'm just trying to take as many precautions as we have available. I can't do much else than that.
well, at least it'll cost him a spell slot to do something about it. Ricky says, jumping up into the bed.
Where are you guys sleeping? I didn't know that first.
In his room.
I'm going to go
everyone
swim
doing
down to the
this?
comfy bed of vines. No, yeah.
We're holding up in here.
Well, shouldn't we keep an eye on the pool just in case? Yeah, let's go set camp up by the pool of water.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, that's such an open area.
Somebody help me move the bed. It starts pushing. Really, nobody's helping me move the bed. I mean, I know I'm the strong one, but
Well,
esoteric, what are you using as muscles for?
I can't set an alarm that covers the radius of that room. I could at least alarm the door here, and we could be safe-ish.
I think the
Oh.
point is if we're not by the pool, then he could just leave and do other things, and then we'll have no idea where he is.
Rika's between the bed and the wall, trying to push it out the
Yeah,
door.
Rika's not noticing anything for sure. And it's a really heavy bed. It's got like a dense oak frame to it. It's really hard to move. Like, even for you, you're beefy and you are having trouble moving this thing around. Baishra, you see that they have kind of turned over this room a little bit, and you're like, why doesn't that look right? You look over across the room, and you see this tapestry that's just a little bit off.
Guess I'll head over towards the tapestry. Pull it down.
Yeah, there's a door there. It's small, and it's only half size, but it's there.
Walk through it.
Okay, so you climb through here. There is a small shrine that resembles a pair of white eyes peering out from the dark wall above a small basin. There's also a journal here, scribbled writing. You probably are not taking the time to figure that out right now. And there is another small door on the other side of this room.
Rika takes the pillows off the bed and puts them into her pouch. Fancy dragon pillows.
This room is cramped. Doesn't seem like somewhere you'd really want to hang out. It's only like, what, 15 feet across and just, well, usually dark. Now it's fully lit up. Just cramped is what it feels like.
It's just an empty other room.
Except for a basin and this imitation of eyes on the wall.
I sure will call out for Esoteric and see if he can come.
Yeah, this is a small shrine to Fin Morel Mesterine, the elven god of outcasts, scapegoats, and solitude.
Okay, I would also like to examine the journal.
Sure, if you're going to take some time to read it.
Well, I would glance at what language is it in, if I can tell. I know
Elvish.
Okay, I don't think I know Elvish. What's that button say? Nope, don't know Elvish. Maybe I recognize that it's Elvish, but I can't read it.
But you know Rika understands Elvish.
I would say this is written in Elvish.
She kind of butts her way in beside you. Oh, it is Elvish. What's it say?
Do not know. If you know Elvish, you could glean more than I can.
What does it say?
It says the new plans are going well. We're going to take 3 attacks on a northern settlement today. He's talking about how he's being affected by the war. The war has taken so much away from him. And after a life of having things taken away from him, it's just one more thing. This appears to be a personal journal. There may be more stuff in there, but finding the small pieces of information, you don't really have an opportunity to do that at the moment. Unless you take time to do this. You guys can take time to do this if you want.
Talia pauses briefly after hearing Rika read that out and says, "Wait a minute, didn't they say at that meeting or before when the one guy was sniping at the head elf about the guy's son riding this dragon or being an agent of it or something like that? He's an elf. Might be this his room instead." We've not come across him, to my knowledge, unless he's one of the many that we slaughtered. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking things.
Is there anything special about this basin, or is it just like a place to wash your hands?
There's nothing particularly special about it. It has very cold water in it if you touch it. It occasionally drips down from the ceiling, so it seems to be self-filling.
Am I the only person here who understands Elvish?
No, Talia knows Elvish.
Oh, good. She thrust the journal into your hands.
Fine, I'll flip through it some more quickly, not trying to read.
It's not a matter of it's not a matter of searching. It's a matter of if you were taking the time to do this right now, it's going to take 15 minutes to half an hour to really that's just a pretty cursory reading. This is a long journal.
Yeah, I more just wanted to look for a key to see whose it is. I'm not trying to get detailed information.
He doesn't sign his name or anything. You could probably figure out by context that it is this Naronvain is what he was called back at the camp. This leader of the cultists. He talks about his own attacks. He talks about them as if he's reclaiming what is his. But it's very clear that he's talking about going and pillaging the elven towns around here.
Alright, let's go set up our camp. Rika pulls down all the other tapestries in the room just to be careful, just to be safe.
Didn't he say that there was another passage out the other side of this room?
I did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I shall head that way.
Yeah, we need to know what's there. We can't be taken by surprise.
I was just gonna open it and head through.
He's in front. I was back here where with Rika shoved the journal in my face. I was flipping through it to see whose it was, and I look up to see if we discovered anything else in the room and see him going through the door. So I'll follow at this point, but he's first.
Yeah, Rika was looking at the book. She looks up in surprise. It's like, what?
There are blankets of thick knotted vines from floor to ceiling of this dome-shaped cavern, almost 70 feet at its highest point. There are golden accents to the deep green, frames of pictures, a broken column. There are bones among the vines of many sizes. The shifting of vines creates a subtle rattling. This is not a dragon's hoard. The room is alive and full of vines, but empty, except Chuth and a black-haired drow. A red gem sits over his third eye. He's wearing purple thin plate armor with black filigree. He has a sword and dagger drawn. He says, "Hail, travelers." You guys would probably hear this voice coming through.
Rika kind of pushes to the
resonant
front
voice.
as Weisher goes through. She doesn't want to be caught behind everybody, and she's like putting her Aegis up on Weisher as he goes through the door, and she's trying to get past him.
So you're looking across this long room at Naronvain. You can see Chuth back in a corner. Doesn't take much note. He is looking in your direction, but he is apparently resting. Naronvain steps forward a little bit towards the center of this room. Like I said, thin purple plate armor. Very reminiscent of his father's green. He says, "Hail, travelers, outlanders. I hear you and my friend had a run-in earlier. Let it be known that we acknowledge and apologize for any confusion. We bring no harm to your door, but you to us. You intrude in elven matters."
Well, you ruined our feast.
As I said, mistakes have been made, and we acknowledge and apologize for those mistakes. But You coming in here is nothing more than an imposition of your morality on the elves. A bully, a murderer. Is that what you are?
If that's what you want to call us, sure. We came here to deal with the dragon. If you're in the way, then you'll be dealt with too.
You would fight an enemy that does not wish to fight you? Who brings no harm to you?
Chromatic dragons have declared war on the denizens of this plane.
And we are to be held accountable for every dragon that lives? As far as I am concerned, you are breaking into my home, our home, and trying to slaughter us. That is what your heroics appear to me.
Then so it is. Doesn't change what's going to happen.
Well, we need the elves' help, and the elves need Chuth to stop killing them. This is where we find ourselves. We are victims of fate, just as you are.
If there were a change in leadership, which I have been attempting to, if maybe you could help. The forest would be better off if I was in charge, rather than my father.
You said this guy's a drow?
He's a half drow, half wood elf. He's the same as Talia. Most people would just call him a drow, but yeah, you would know the specifics from
Of this circumstance, yeah.
Right. And he says, I've been shunned by my father my entire life, and I had to go elsewhere to seek my fortune, but you must have noticed the darkness that has come over him.
What darkness do you speak of? He seemed like a nice old man to me.
Then you did not spend enough time with him. Even his closest friends say he is changing.
I mean, I'm willing to hear you out, sir, but you seem to be allied with a clearly evil monster. So
Now, what if we were able to help you in some way?
Does Chuth truly have nothing to do with the Call of the Dragons?
Chuth gives you just a look over, and Naronvain says, no, he has nothing to do with the Cult of the Dragon except for just being a chromatic dragon, much like I am part drow.
Do I believe him?
You read him like a book.
You're like, nah, this guy's stalling. Why is this guy stalling?
Also, we fought a lot of them. What do those guys outside, what do their masks look like?
They look like they have a beak shape to them, and then it flares out to kind of a mane type
Okay.
helm.
Does it resemble the capital M mask people at all from the Call of the Dragon?
Yes, it does resemble other people you've seen from Cult of the Dragon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, he thinks we're really stupid, don't he?
How do you explain the chamber full of masks outside that we saw that look practically identical to the masks that the Call of the Dragons were?
I told you that I had to seek my fortunes elsewhere. I don't mind giving all this up, though, and Chuth will come with me. If we can take control of the elves, then all of our problems would be solved, really. There is a pool over to your right as you come in this room. That's where the vines are coming out of. And the whole thing is just covered in vines. You can't see any floor. It's all these vines are growing out of the pool into the ground, and it's just covered.
Yeah, I guess Baisha will just start walking forward then.
That pool is in the same direction as the pool you did before. I know that.
And I'll ask, why are you stalling?
I am not. I merely wish to... And he sees Baisha walking forward, and he says, call off your friend, or what? Why am I being attacked like this?
because you've allied yourself with an enemy of this plane.
Chuth turns your direction. He was resting, but he's going to give that up right now. He gets up, kind of shakes his neck, and then starts pounding over your direction like a lion. He apparently, you can see now that he has recovered most of his wounds. They are scabbed over at least. As he's running at you, you see the vines around you start writhing. These are vines stabbing up out of the ground into the air. You guys were able to jump out of the way. Baishra was not. He got hit by it. You can also see the vines in the ceiling start swaying as if they have joined into the combat as Chuth runs towards you. Naronvain's going to be second, and he is going to... He draws an arrow on a black bow. Shoots one at Baishra, just goes off to the side. Second one hits you with one of these arrows. You see the little green, white wind effect catch it and drop it right before it hits you.
I will take 2 steps forward, picking up speed, and shift into an air elemental.
That's unexpected.
So I'm going to fly into him.
You see his eyes go wide.
And then I'll do the whirlwind ability.
You're able to get in there. You feel the kind of natural, magical essence that you've always felt around dragons repelling you. He's going to take a legendary action, and he's going to hit back at Baishra.
I'm going to use my movement so that I can have just enough space to shadow step to behind the drow.
Actually, sorry, you can't see through this. These vines. They block line of sight.
Then I don't actually know what's happening over there at all. In which case... So I'm running 40 feet to there. I'll teleport into the shadows over here and run the remaining 30 feet.
Damn, you can check.
Here. I will be attacking him from his blind side.
Hisses and turns around to look at you, pulls out his sword with his other hand, drops his bow.
Now the second attack. And then the third strike.
Damn.
Yeah, that's an awesome first round. He's already showing wear just from those first 3 strikes. Nothing has yet hit the dragon. You see Talia getting some work done over there.
Yeah. I'm going to use my bonus action to put my Aegis on Talia. And then I'm going to take the dodge action. I'm not sure how to play out this combat yet. Rika is evaluating the situation. She's keeping an eye on that drow.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm gonna kind of maybe step over to here.
He is going to leave your melee range. Come over here, not leave Baishra's. And Poison Breath.
I'll use my reaction to attack of opportunity. Okay. So I will Booming Blade. No, I won't.
You do make the attack. It just, the vines are really hard to walk over, so they give you some weird leverage at odd times.
Air elemental is immune to poison.
Yeah, he expects this to have some effect, and it just goes right through you.
Rika's got tears streaming down her face. She's gagging. Oh my god.
Back to Esoteric. You are miles away and you can't even see anything. And this ground's not made for hooving.
You're still super strong.
Move and dash, that's what I do.
The wall disappears.
And then it reappears. Yeah, that should go through Baishra and Rika. That's piercing from the vines coming up out of the floor and trying to pierce. Naronvain, he's going to... You don't know what he's doing. He just moves And that's all he does.
Will attack.
Yeah, this is the first damage you guys are getting on this dragon again. So I guess it's like an explosion is what's happening of wind.
Yeah.
That's so strong that it makes impacts.
It's like being buffeted, yeah. Bludgeoning damage.
Nice, just coming in for both sides.
Expend a spell slot to regain hit points.
Okay, he's also going to take a legendary action to attack back at you. You can also see, if you look at his skin, he has this like dimpled effect to his skin, and the ground kind of imitates that around him. Just makes your eyes a little bit woozy as you're looking at him.
Can she see Baisha from here?
He's pretty big. This wall is about 10 feet high-ish, where it starts spiking up out of the ground. His form is not that solid at the moment, so yeah, you can see him a little bit.
I'm going to bonus action Shadow Step while he's still facing me.
Okay.
And then run up behind him. And
he took the dodge action, so anything you do is going to be at disadvantage. Still able to just get him. He doesn't know what this weird ability is that lets you fly around the room, but you're able to get another one in before he catches on too much.
Alright, I'm going to cast Haste and Twin it on myself and Baisha. She makes a couple of signs with her hands, and a little brief tornado whirls around her, and then another one twirls around Baisha and kind of powers him up with little gold lightning bolts kind of arc through him a little bit periodically, and he becomes super fast.
It looked like a real storm now. Legendary action. One of his legendary actions. He's going to hit Baishra. Just with a claw. That's going to...
-5, yes. And she'll counterattack.
Yeah. Get a good strike in across him. You're seeing him reacting to Baishra, and then you jolt of energy over here and put a slash into his back. The second claw attack misses. He's going to bite in at you.
Yeah, I don't really want to do anything special yet, so I'm just going to Toll the Dead the Drow.
He's going to pull down that wall again and put up a new one. He's gonna go for Rika and Baishra.
I'm gonna back out.
His effects are not having a great deal of effect on you. Like the regeneration you're having is putting this wind form back together.
So yeah, I'm going to use the first attack of my attack action to do that, is try to grapple him down.
Yeah, you get inside of his range, and just when he's expecting you to go back for another flurry of attacks.
I mean, just gamble it.
That's one thing. I think she's just going to be frustrated over her last turn, so she's going to kind of make a lunge at him to try to tackle him down.
Well, I mean, you both are like sparring off. You know, he's dodging and you're trying to grab him.
So yeah, you are able to get up underneath him. He still has his sword in his hand, but you are grappling him, holding him tight.
Use my bonus action to do an arm strike while he's grappled.
Yeah, you have your left arm around his neck with your dagger, and you just punch him in the back.
I'm not letting go.
Kind of sees.
I'm holding on for dear life.
He's grappled. His speed is 0, right?
Yes. I think.
I'm going to use legendary action against Baishra 16, which does not hit.
Correct.
I'm gonna sneak down here and then hit the dragon with a firebolt, I guess, or try to anyway. Fuck that. I'm gonna hit him with a lightning bolt.
He has his spine across his back, and you just like it effectively turns into flame, the lightning across his back, and just sears through and leaves this flapping up above his head that now has like no mane to it on his back. Okay, he's going to take a legendary action on Baishra. He's going to take 3 more attacks. His second claw attack misses. His third will be a bite in at you. As he bites through this form. It's not me. This is the dragon who's going to kill Baishra, if he can.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Esoteric's gonna save us all.
All right. So yeah, I move 1 square and then I cast Bless on the 3 people, my 3 party members.
Baishra, legendary action. You know what he's gonna do this time? He's gonna try to charm Rika.
Huh.
Who?
The adult green dragon. This is part of a lair action. Fog billows around you, Rika. You guys can all see this fog coming in around here, this green mist. You are charmed. So
Okay.
I'm just going to take your next turn.
No.
I have this advantage against being charmed because I'm a elf.
Alright. Yeah, you guys see it seep into her mind, kind of her eyes glaze over, and then you see her shake herself out of it and grab her sword.
What's the normal amount of eyes glazing over?
Wow, that has never been useful. That is like a first in like 5 years.
You can't complain about that anymore. It just saved your ass.
No, Naronvain's fucking...
He has to escape the grapple first.
Hey, just barely gets up and gets away.
She curses at him and says, "You're really starting to piss me off."
I realized this guy knows Kung Fu.
And then I'll use my 5th level spell slot to heal.
Claws out, legendary action.
I'm going to grapple him right back.
How nervous does this air elemental look right now?
You can't read body language of an air elemental.
On a scale of 1 to 90, about a 20.
Would I be confident or worried?
You get him, just barely.
Okay, I grapple him down and then I'm going to shank him while I've got him grappled.
Just a wrestling match over here, dude.
Knife hand chop to his Adam's apple to cut off his scream and damage his throat.
This knockdown, drag-out fight you're having with the only 2 of your kind, half drow, half wood elf, is playing out on one side of the roots. And you guys are fairly similarly matched physically, it seems like. It's going slightly your way at the moment. I'm getting in some good strikes on him.
I wish I had somebody helping Baishra better than I am. I will tell Talia to I'll be like, take him back alive if we can. And then I'll cast another lightning bolt at the dragon.
Talia just responds with a glare, looking up from where she's pinning this guy down.
Yeah, Naronvain's looking injured. The dragon is still barely. You guys are seeing some strikes across him, but he's still looking pretty.
That's unfortunate.
20 damage for the bite, which will knock you out of form. But that should just be back to Baishra form.
Did 20 says my size 15, so I take 3 more damage in Baishra form.
This thing has focused all of its attacks on you so far. You guys have no idea what's going on basically in the rest of the fight. You occasionally see lightning flash out around the dragon, but other than that, you don't really have a good idea of the rest of the battlefield. Only Rika can see both of these drag-out fights going on. There's one between an elemental and a dragon, and then the other one between Talia and Naronvain.
Move there, then I will slap a heal on Rika. I'll do it at 4th level.
Nice knife it is.
Just fucking pump it into his chest. His head rears back as these ice knives pierce into his breast, screaming at the ceiling. He's gonna attack back at you for that one. Naronvain. So he's still stuck, and he's just squirming, almost petulantly at this point.
That's the first time I've started off with this, so that's going to take full advantage of it. While I'm holding him down with my left forearm against his neck against the ground, so I'm going to dig my short sword into the arm holding his sword.
Sure.
Like at the wrist, trying to make him let go of it. And then do an unarmed strike at his head with the pommel, like I dug in with it, and then I let up, and I'm going to use just an arm strike to the head, trying to knock him out at the temple. He's a resilient little bastard.
Seriously injured now. I mean, he's still squirming, trying to get away. This fight has gone back and forth a couple times. He still believes he has a chance, even though you clearly have the upper hand at the moment. Chuth misses.
I guess I'm gonna lightning bolt again.
You lining up your next lightning bolt to hit Baishra?
I thought about it. I mean, if Baishra's gonna go out, I think it should be me that does it. But I think that's what he would want.
Do it. If the dragon dies, I don't give a shit.
A haste. I'll walk up and hit him once.
Chuth. 3 attacks at Baishra. Claw, bite.
I hope Talia, you gave those gems to Esoteric, because he might be the last person standing.
Dragon's large, right? I can see him over the wall.
So you can't see him because like Rika burnt off his spine on the top of his head.
She did do that. I almost brought that up.
Okay.
But the one right on top of his head is still there. It's just she did the one on his back. So he's seeing the floppy bit there.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be ineffectual anyways, but I'm just going to toll dead him.
You guys over here who can't see this are just confused as Chuth starts screaming as if he's just been stabbed for no reason. Chuth rears back and beats his wings. Baishra, you are tossed into a vine wall of thorns. Naronvain is going to try to get away. He's got
Pushed him right back down against the floor.
Yeah, but no, he comes around and he starts slashing up at you with his daggers. You're like, no, that's not happening. Just grab his neck, slam him back into the ground. The dragon's going to take a legendary action.
And I guess I'll attack.
These ones go through his wing and through the tendons along there, cutting up his flesh.
Then I'll Hungry Jaws, which is the bite.
Alright, I'm going to attack him again while he's down.
I should probably ask if are you using lethal damage?
Not this turn, because after having him in the temple last turn, that my intent was to try to knock him out. I'm going to continue to try to do that, but I am using the blunt edge of the sword to do it.
Right, and his head's hitting against the ground. He's dazed, obviously. More than dazed, bleeding out. You are definitely ringing this guy's bell. The squirming has gotten kind of wavy, like he's coming in and out. But he's still moving.
I'm gonna lightning bolt this guy again. And then my haste attack.
Alright, you slice across his back. Actually, just basically the whole back of him now is, because you've been behind him the whole time, just peppering him with lightning bolts. The back of him looks charred at this point, starting to smoke. At the end of your turn, he's going to use 2 legendary actions to knock everybody back. He's going to come a little this way to hit Baishra back into that cluster. Baishra, you go back into the brambles. Rika, you're able to hold on from the wing attack. You're looking pretty bad, right, Baishra?
Yeah.
Like how bad?
Pretty?
He's gonna leave Rika's range. And he's just gonna come at you with 3 attacks, but Rika gets an attack first.
Alright, counterattack.
6.
So can I see Baishra on the edge of the wall there?
Yes.
How hurt are you looking, Baishra?
Very.
Scale 1 to 10, what is very?
1? Or I guess, is 10 bad or 10 good?
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so in other words, bad. So a large chunk of healing wouldn't go wasted, is what you're saying. You go boom, heal.
You smell your flesh burning, and you're like, yes, Esoteric saw me. As you land back in these brambles, the Chuth sees this happening, and he just starts screaming, and he claws out at you again. Now he's starting to look a little panicked. What he's going to do is he's going to try to kill Baishra. Brambles reform around you and through Esoteric as well. Rika takes a stabbing vine through the calf.
Holy shit.
Damage to Esoteric, and you're shunted out on the far side of him.
Pass a con save, though.
Yeah, that bless has been useful.
Naronvain.
He's not getting out of that.
Yeah. He's looking injured near death, bleeding and woozy. You see this green dragon just in a battle rage.
For the first time, you can see the green dragon.
Yeah, it's the first time in this whole fight.
Oh, ice knife. And then back with my stick.
He's going to do another one of those wing attacks. He has had a turn since he last did it. Okay. Rika, you are pushed back, knocked prone. He's specifically trying to keep Esoteric out of line of sight. So he's actually staying low, and he's making a point of being out of your line of sight.
Yep, I'm going to keep trying to knock this guy out.
You just keep at it. And he eventually just stops squirming, gives a couple last jerky motions, and just goes out onto the floor, bleeding out of his mouth, bleeding out of the side of his eye where it's hit the ground. He goes out.
I was going for non-lethal damage, just reiterating.
So he goes out on the lines.
No, I'm going to stay over here. This is a safe distance away. No sense moving when I can't act, so I'm going to hang back and observe before I do anything else.
Half your movement to get back up.
All right, Rika walks over and she's gonna booming blade this thing. Hopefully.
Okay. He's looking pretty screwed up. He seemed to think for a second he had Baishra, and that gave him this flare of energy, but now he sees Naronvain out on the floor. He sees everybody in here not looking on death's door anymore. Nobody is, and Talia looks basically fine over there. She just beat up this guy who he expected to help him out without any problem, and he's going to disengage and jump into this pool. Chuth glides into his underwater cave, and Baishra follows after him. Baishra dives into the water.
Shit, not again. After both the flight of the stone dragon through the caves that we dealt with and his Chuth's flight the night before, she's sick and tired of these dragons running off on her.
You're just about feeling safe enough to where you're like, okay, this guy's really knocked out. He's not going to get back up and fight. You're just standing up and looking at this from way across the room. At Rika, just this bright shining light over there.
Well, Baishra's staff with daylight is underneath the water now. Rika's got her sword out. Are there any shadows along the coast of this pond, dim or dark?
Yeah, dim it. You can get over here.
Teleporting gets me to this column, but it's to the left of Rika. I'll say, make sure he doesn't go anywhere as I'm passing them by.
Yeah, you take off. Rika and Esoteric, you see Talia just book it out through the kind of dim darkness of the room, back into Naronvain's bedroom for some reason. And she yells this order at you.
Yeah, I have no way of catching up to him through the water, and there's brambles there anyway. This way, at least I have a potential of getting him before he gets out of the cave. Especially if they hold him up a little bit.
I guess she watches Talia just get the fuck out of here.
She's gone.
I guess I'll look over at Esoteric and shrug and say, I guess my hands are tied now. Okay.
I wasn't meant to say don't leave the room. I just meant...
You already said it. Rika already misunderstood it.
So I can see the dragon to cast a spell, or I can't.
You can see his tail.
Can I hit the water with lightning bolt, killing everybody in the water?
Oh, yeah. Lightning works in water.
I mean, and plus I'm like, haste is gonna end here in like 2 or 3 rounds, and
it's not very long, yeah.
We're gonna be like lethargied. If I cast a concentration spell, then Baisha's gonna lose haste, and he's not gonna be able to take an action next turn, which maybe might save his life. I don't know. I'll look at Esoteric, and I guess I'll just ask him: should I end my haste spell? Yeah, I don't know. I guess Rika's just gonna like stay here and just watch, since she really can't do anything.
Just because
Talia
of the way
can
the
move
initiative's working.
so fast. There's no way Rika could catch up without casting Fly. Which, if Baisha hadn't jumped in the water and Talia hadn't run away, she would have cast Fly on everybody. But
That might catch Baisha off guard. I don't know.
Rika just kind of looks dejected.
He's just, well, he's trying to book it through here. He's getting to the other side of the tunnel. Esoteric, Rika's just asked you a question. You see the last remnant of the dragon's tail escape through the tunnel?
Yeah,
shining light.
I look back towards Drowman. What's he look like?
I don't even know if you can see him. He's in a bunch of writhing vines in the dark. Past Rika, you really can't tell.
Yeah, I also move towards him, and hey, I'm gonna throw a heal on Rika. I have 0 methods of traversing water in general, let alone trying to keep pace with someone underwater. Even if it was perfectly flat land, I would lose that battle. I'll throw a Cure Wounds at a 2nd level on you.
Naronvain, he's squirming. But he's definitely not at all recovered from the beating he just took. Esoteric, because you're looking in that direction, you would be able to see that.
Keep following.
Both. You're going to go through the briars.
Yes.
I don't think you have enough health to do that.
I'm going to try.
Let's just say alligators can be really single-minded. He's like a snapping turtle.
You could only move 1 foot per 4 feet, so you're moving like 10 feet total.
I have 60 feet of movement. Then I can use my second action to dash, so I still have 120 feet of movement.
Okay, with haste, yes.
And then I can use my action to dash, so I'll get another 15.
That's enough to get next to him. If you're going to do it, you might as well go along through it.
That's the plan, yeah, to get in front of him, out of the lair itself.
It's exactly enough.
I mean, yeah, that's it, but
he has 5 feet to spare.
fucking haste, that's what it is. Okay, then we will figure out the math, but you're about to get wrecked by Shra.
We'll see.
And then he's going to take a legendary action against you. He's also going to hit you. He misses. Shrieks and is very confused how you are following him this quickly. Talia hops a gold armoire and teleports, then hops the masked cultist bodies on the floor.
First part of my movement, and now my action is to dash.
She draws her longbow and her arrow of dragon slaying.
This is what she's fantasizing about while she's standing here in the dark room.
Yeah, Rika just hastes on over to this guy. Fishes her manacles out of her bag and ties his hands behind his back with her iron manacles.
He kind of passively puts up a little bit of resistance without waking up, but you're able to get him there pretty easy. This dragon's gonna attack Baishra. His first claw misses. Second claw hits. This is the third attack with a bite. Are you still up?
Yeah.
He just got healed a few seconds ago.
I've hit him a lot since then.
Baishra has a lot of health.
I will spend an action to heal myself with a charge from my healer's kit.
Baishra's down there getting mauled by this dragon, and you guys are just like hanging out. Dragon's gonna hit Baishra, legendary action.
Does not hit.
Excuse me, I'm not done with my turn. Also, how would he know it's the end of my turn? So I see Rika seems to have what's-his-foot secured, and I say, perhaps we should escort him to the exit. And then I start moving that way. This is the, like, cave exit, right?
I think that's where we came in, yeah. That's where Talia went.
So I start walking that direction. Now I'm done.
He's gonna try to charm Baishra. You see this green energy just screams, and it billows out into the water. It looks like a poison breath for a moment, but wraps around you comfortably. You realize the horror of your mistake. The green dragon was never your enemy. Your eyes go calm. Naronvain is gonna whimper. Charmed creature can't attack the charmer or target the charmer with harmful spells or magical abilities. Charmer has advantage on ability checks to interact socially with the creature.
What I'll do is I will attempt to move out of his radius. Get on this land area over here.
You're actually, like, purposefully getting out of his way?
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
I'll use a 1-level spell slot to cure wounds myself.
While not perfect, the mere presence of his hand over the light is casting shadows across the area that he's in.
Enough to get dim light, yeah.
Yeah. I will teleport basically into the same square he's in, next to him. And then I will move and attack the dragon. So I did hit, so I'm going to mark him as favored foe.
Got it. The adult green dragon is looking a little bit just proud of himself that he's able to manipulate this lesser lizard's mind. And you come in with your short sword and just gut him. Lets out a scream even underwater. And claws back at you.
I will do my follow-up extra action attack. Glad to see such a strong reaction. I'm going to take advantage of it and dig in further.
Yeah, another good slice across his face.
I'm going to hold my ground there because, for one, I'll give him an opportunity attack if I move, and two, I want to make him move me by not letting him get out easily. So, yeah, so I stand there, he claws back at me, I take that damage, and that's my turn. Talia has no idea that Baishra is charmed, so she just ran by him thinking he just backed up so he could heal himself. She's not thinking anything of it.
Naron snores a little bit.
Rika knows that her haste is probably about to end here in a few seconds. So she's still kind of taking time waiting for that to hit her. She's just hoping that Talia and Baishra are alright, so she just kind of busies herself. She pulls her hemp rope out of her bag of holding. She puts Naronvain's weapons into her bag of holding, and she starts, like, binding his legs.
Okay.
Like, tightly with 50 feet of rope. And then she's going to start dragging him by his legs and the rope to where Esoteric is. That's what she's working on right now. He's just, like, wrapping it around him over and over and over and over and over again. She's cocooning him in a rope.
The dragon Actually, he's going to take a legendary action at the end of that turn. And that's going to be on Talia. It's going to be an attack.
Yeah, that is.
He's going to attack you 3 times, twice with the claws and then once with a bite. The last attack is a bite.
Hits. Yeah, bring it. Talia grits her teeth. She doesn't scream out, but she grunts and takes the hits and tries to guard them as best she can, knowing that it's going to be somewhat ineffectual, but she can take it.
I see Rika not having any issues, so I'm just going to move, dash, I'm done.
That's where you stop being charmed. But what he's going to do at this point is he's going to hit you with vines.
Who?
Both of you.
Oh, he's going to shoot one out diagonal in the line toward us.
I'll move back towards closer to Talia, so she and I are side by side attacking the dragon. I will Primal Savagery attack him. And then I will just hit him with the staff. I'm just going to try and take up as much space blocking this way as much as I can.
Sure. Talia, you could see Baisha come in and get some more damage on him. Slice across his other side.
I grin, seeing the effectual back up. Okay, I will.
This guy is lashing out. You guys can tell he's getting extremely.
Yeah, I'm going to hold my ground, heartened that Baisha is side by side, and he's just bit into this guy with acid. Yeah, I'll continue following up on the gash I applied to him previously and attack him with my short sword.
At the end of Talia's turn, he's going to attack at Baishra. This is before haste ends.
Alright, ice nice it is. Sorry, Talia.
Well, let's see if you even make it to your turn.
The haste just ended, and so I cannot take an action or move.
He's going to be taking attacks at Baishra first. The dragon's claws dig into you. Baishra's down. And drowning. He's going to attack Talia.
Nope, misses.
He is going to bramble through you. You can jump out of the way. He's going to do it pretty much in the same spot it is right now, so you probably jump back towards him, I guess. You could jump away from him through it.
No, I do not.
Okay.
I assume it hits me too?
No, he's not. I mean, he wasn't really aiming for you. No, he's more worried about getting out of here than mutilating your body at the moment. Although, that was a good suggestion. Naronvain, snoring. What's Rika doing to Naronvain?
Yeah, she's gonna basically fireman carry him over her shoulder since she's pretty strong.
You carry him out of this shifting, viney room.
Yeah, she's gonna try to move as fast as she can though.
This dragon is doing his absolute best to knock both of you out. Get out of here.
Okay.
He's in his death throes.
I'm going to sow confusion in his mind to try to create an advantage by shadow stepping back and then dashing forward again. I will thrust with my short sword into his chest, just at a completely different angle than I was previously appeared, to just try to get past his guard.
His eyes start to waver. Blood comes out and sinks into the water.
And then I follow up and dig the thrust in more. I just gouge it in more and off to the side to open his chest cavity up so that it just his entrails are trying to spill out into the water.
Yeah, you see Baishra. Your entire scene is just turning darker and darker red around you.
Still have movement left, so at that point, You
can feel him stop struggling, though, even though you can't.
I will move back so that I'm not covered in dragon entrails. Not out of range of Baishra, I'm going to move to right there so that I can help him.
It's not a physical creature, actually. I mean, if we want to get into what a dragon is, it's a connection to another plane that cannot really be destroyed. It is, in its essence, a magical being.
Oh boy. I think good berries should give key. You need to invent a new spell called good fucking berries.